In 2014, the film industry was rocked by a significant cyber event that came to be known as the Sony hack. As one of the leading entertainment companies in the world, Sony Pictures found itself at the center of a sophisticated cyber attack that resulted in the leak of highly confidential information as well as unreleased films, impacting not just the individuals involved but the entire industry. The attack surfaced in late November when a group calling themselves the Guardians of Peace infiltrated Sony Pictures' computer systems. This group unleashed a torrent of data, revealing sensitive employee information, internal emails, and even unreleased movies. The hack was described as one of the most extensive breaches in Hollywood history, shining a light on the vulnerabilities present in even the most technologically advanced corporations. The cybercriminals began by accessing emails exchanged among Sony executives that revealed candid opinions about talent, movies, and even political commentary. These emails were later leaked to the public, causing embarrassment for many individuals involved, including some high-profile Hollywood figures. Critics noted how these leaks demonstrated the less glamorous side of Hollywood, with personal opinions that were often unfiltered and considerately frank. Furthermore, unreleased films such as Annie, Fury, and Still Alice found their way into the public domain, prompting discussions about the impact on box office revenues and the overall production pipeline. The leak presented a significant threat to the business strategies of studios, raising fears that their investment in films could be jeopardized by premature releases to the public. The motives behind the hack were shrouded in mystery, but many reports suggested that it was connected to the upcoming release of The Interview, a satirical film about a fictional plot to assassinate North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The controversy surrounding the film escalated, and some speculated that North Korea was involved in the cyber attack as a form of retaliation. The hacking incident led to heightened security concerns across the entertainment industry and prompted studio executives to reconsider their cybersecurity measures. In the wake of the attack, Sony's response was critical to managing the crisis. They worked closely with cybersecurity experts and the FBI to investigate the breach. Sony's executives held press conferences to address the issues and navigate the tumultuous fallout. The attack not only exposed Sony's vulnerabilities, but also revealed the broader issues faced by many corporations concerning cybersecurity. In addition to the leaks and internal scandals, the Sony hack opened discussions around freedom of speech, censorship, and the roles that corporations play in addressing the decisions of foreign nations. Questions about the ethical responsibilities of artists, filmmakers, and corporations emerged, provoking public debate about how far the boundaries should be pushed when it comes to political satire. As a result of the hack, many studios began to invest in robust cybersecurity measures to protect their intellectual property and sensitive information. Employees were educated on the importance of cybersecurity practices, including password management, phishing awareness, and safe internet usage. The entertainment industry took significant steps to ensure that future breaches would not compromise the creative works and personal information of those involved in production. Moreover, the incident raised awareness of the need for protective measures not only in the film industry, but across various sectors that handle sensitive data. The threat of hacking became a pressing issue for all businesses, reminding them of the vital importance of safeguarding their digital landscapes. The ripple effect of the Sony hack echoed throughout other industries as well, creating a new standard in how companies approach the issue of cybersecurity. The Sony hack was not just a cyber incident, but a wake-up call for many corporations around the world. While the media frenzy around the leak and the content of the emails provided sensational headlines, the underlying implications were much more profound. The incident highlighted the need for resilience in the face of evolving threats and issues surrounding digital privacy. As time passed, the impact of the Sony hack on the industry remained significant. Conversations about privacy, free expression, and security continued to evolve. In many ways, it changed the dialogue around the relationship between technology and the arts, reminding creators and companies alike about the precautions necessary in this digital age. Overall, the Sony hack serves as a poignant case study of the vulnerabilities inherent in the information age. It reminds us that even the most seemingly secure companies are susceptible to breaches that can have far-reaching effects. Such discussions have ushered in an era where the interaction between technology and creativity continues to be scrutinized, ultimately leading to stronger safeguards and a more thoughtful approach in protecting the assets and talents of the entertainment industry. In the realm of cybersecurity, stories of intrigue and deception often capture our attention, and one of the most notable chapters in this narrative is the tale of Operation Ghostclick. This operation, which unfurled its web of deceit across continents, became a significant turning point in the battle between criminals and law enforcement agencies. It involved a sophisticated malware scheme that ultimately impacted millions of computer users worldwide before its eventual shutdown in 2011 by the FBI. To understand the intricacies of this operation, we must first look at what precisely constituted the malware involved. At the heart of Operation GhostClick was a form of malware known as DNS Changer. This software was designed to alter the settings of victims' domain name system or DNS configurations. The DNS functions like a phone book for the internet, translating domain names which are easy for humans to read into numerical IP addresses that computers can understand. When DNS settings are modified maliciously, users can be redirected to fraudulent websites without their knowledge. The malware initially spread through deceptive online advertisements and shady download links. Unsuspecting users often found themselves enticed by the promise of free software or services, leading them to unknowingly install the malware on their computers. Once installed, the DNS changer would go to work, redirecting web traffic away from legitimate sites and towards domains controlled by the criminals behind the operation. This meant that innocent users were led to counterfeit web pages designed to look like legitimate sites, which could lead to various forms of fraud, including identity theft and financial scams. As the malware continued to spread, it was estimated that millions of computers were infected across the globe. This widespread effect highlighted the vulnerabilities within online systems and demonstrated how easily everyday users could become victims of cybercrimes. The scale of Operation GhostClick was staggering. Reports indicated tens of thousands of infected computers across the United States alone, with additional figures revealing the reach of the malware in many other countries across Europe and beyond. The operation was not merely an isolated incident of malware distribution. It was part of a larger, organized cybercriminal enterprise. At its core, this enterprise was orchestrated by a group of Estonian nationals who had developed and maintained the DNS Changer malware. They capitalized on the naivete of users and the security lapses within many computing systems. Law enforcement agencies worldwide scrambled to respond to the growing threat. In 2011, the FBI, alongside other international law enforcement partners, conducted a major offensive against the criminals behind Operation GhostClick. This operation was carefully planned and required meticulous investigation to piece together the digital breadcrumbs left by the perpetrators. Through coordinated efforts, law enforcement agencies were able to gather evidence, facilitate arrests, and ultimately dismantle the crime syndicate. One of the most notable efforts in the takedown of Operation GhostClick was the establishment of a temporary DNS server by the FBI. This server was intended to help users infected with the malware regain control of their computers and redirect their traffic to safer, legitimate websites. This proactive measure was an attempt to minimize the potential impact on victims during the transition of shutting down the malicious DNS servers operated by the criminals. It was a balance of enforcement and user protection aimed at mitigating the fallout from the widespread infection. When the FBI announced the successful completion of Operation GhostClick, it garnered significant media attention. The public became increasingly aware of the intricacies involved in the fight against cybercrime, as well as the lengths law enforcement was willing to go to protect everyday internet users. This high-profile case served as a warning to both potential victims and budding cybercriminals about the risks and consequences associated with such malicious activities. Post-operation, numerous reports and educational resources emerged to inform the public about the dangers of malware and how to protect oneself from similar threats in the future. Awareness campaigns began to sprout, focusing on safe browsing practices, the importance of legitimate software updates, and the necessity of using reliable security solutions. These movements aim not only to educate users, but to empower them to take proactive measures against cyber threats. Operation GhostClick remains a poignant example of the changing landscape of crime in the digital age. It sheds light on how the internet can be a breeding ground for malicious activities that affect millions, but also how collaborative efforts among global law enforcement can triumph in bringing such schemes to a halt. The operation's success foreshadowed the continued evolution and adaptation required by cybersecurity professionals as new threats emerge with astonishing frequency. With hacking becoming a reality that many individuals now grapple with, understanding past incidents like Operation GhostClick becomes vital. This case not only illustrates the capability of cybercriminals to impact the lives of everyday users, but also signifies the importance of vigilance and awareness in an increasingly digital world. As technology advances, so too will the tactics employed by those with malicious intent. However, the lessons learned from Operation GhostClick can serve as a guide for individuals seeking to navigate the complexities of the online world. The importance of informed and cautious online behavior, staying updated on the latest security practices, and advocating for robust digital safeguards cannot be overstated. In retrospect, the drama of Operation GhostClick serves to remind us of the intricate dance between security and vulnerability within the digital landscape. It prompts a broader discussion about the responsibilities of internet users, software developers, and law enforcement agencies, all of whom play a critical role in safeguarding the online world from evolving threats. It urges us to be proactive rather than reactive in our approach to cybersecurity, fostering environments where trust and safety are paramount. Reflecting on this event and its ramifications can help cultivate a new generation of internet users who are not only aware of the dangers, but equipped to challenge them. Ultimately, the saga of Operation GhostClick encapsulates a vital chapter in the ongoing story of our technological age, one that will continue to unfold as we delve deeper into the mysteries and perils of the digital realm. As we move forward, let us draw from these lessons, advocating for our own safety and the safety of others, while keeping the conversation around cybersecurity alive and thriving. In 2005, a significant breach occurred when hackers infiltrated the systems of the TJX Companies, a major retailer that owns popular brands such as TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods. This incident is often regarded as one of the largest data breaches in retail history, affecting millions of customers and catalyzing a reevaluation of cybersecurity practices across industries. The breach began with hackers gaining unauthorized access to the TJX Companies' networks. Using sophisticated techniques, they exploited vulnerabilities in the company's wireless networks. Once inside, the attackers were able to bypass security measures and access sensitive information, including millions of credit card numbers. Estimates suggest that roughly 45.7 million credit card numbers were compromised during this incident, along with personal information linked to those cards. What made this breach particularly alarming was the time frame in which it occurred. The hackers had the ability to extract data over several months, allowing them to gather a significant amount of information before the breach was even identified. It wasn't until January of 2007 that the TJX companies publicly acknowledged the incident, revealing that data had been stolen from their systems beginning in mid-2005. In this time, the hackers had managed to access data from a variety of sources, creating a massive database of customer credit information. The repercussions of this breach were widespread. For customers, it meant that millions of people were at risk for credit card fraud. Many banks and financial institutions had to issue new cards to prevent unauthorized transactions. For the TJX companies, the breach resulted in significant financial fallout, with costs related to investigation, legal fees, and improvements in cybersecurity. The company faced scrutiny from both the public and regulatory authorities, leading to a push for enhanced security protocols. In the wake of the incident, companies across the retail sector began to reevaluate their cybersecurity strategies. The breach highlighted the inadequacies of existing security measures at the time, prompting businesses to invest in more robust systems to protect sensitive data. This led to a transformation in how organizations approach cybersecurity, with a greater emphasis on safeguarding customer information. Furthermore, the incident spurred interest in encryption technology. Companies started to implement measures that would secure credit card data during transactions, making it more difficult for hackers to access useful information. Encryption serves to scramble data, rendering it unreadable without the correct decryption key, thus adding an extra layer of protection. Additionally, organizations recognize the importance of regular system audits and vulnerability assessments. By frequently inspecting their networks for weaknesses, companies could patch vulnerabilities before they could be exploited by malicious actors. This proactive approach to cybersecurity became a standard practice as the industry learned from the TJX breach. The impact of the breach was not confined to just immediate changes in cybersecurity practices at retail companies. It also shaped consumer awareness regarding data security. Customers became more vigilant about the information they shared, understanding that data breaches were a genuine threat. This shift in perception created a demand for transparency from businesses regarding their security practices and policies. In terms of regulations, the breach contributed to changes in laws governing data protection. Policymakers began to push for stricter compliance requirements for businesses handling sensitive customer information. This led to increased scrutiny, regarding how organizations manage and protect their data. Additionally, the TJX breach facilitated the growth of the cybersecurity industry. As businesses sought to bolster their defenses, cybersecurity firms experienced a surge in demand for their services. Companies began to prioritize security both in terms of technology implementation and staff training, raising awareness and preparedness against potential cyber threats. The TJX Companies Breach serves as a cautionary tale about the vulnerabilities that exist even within established and seemingly secure organizations. It illustrated that cybersecurity is not merely a technological issue, but also a critical aspect of business strategy. Companies learned that they must continuously evolve to stay ahead of malicious threats, acknowledging that security breaches can happen to anyone, regardless of size or industry. Ultimately, the events surrounding the TJX breach marked a turning point in how organizations view and approach cybersecurity. The lessons learned from this incident continue to influence best practices, ensuring that businesses remain vigilant in the ever-evolving landscape of cybersecurity threats. By reinforcing security measures, fostering a culture of security awareness, and adhering to regulations, companies can better protect their customers' data and maintain their trust. The legacy of the TJX breach is evident today in the ongoing discussions about data privacy and cybersecurity. As digital transactions become increasingly commonplace, the lessons from past breaches remind us of the importance of safeguarding sensitive information. The retail industry, as well as other sectors, continues to adapt, innovate, and implement more effective measures to secure data in this digital age. Through its vulnerability, the retail industry gained valuable insight into the importance of collaboration in tackling cybersecurity challenges. Companies began sharing information about threats and best practices, fostering a community focused on enhancing overall security. This collaborative spirit extends beyond individual companies, involving technology vendors, government agencies, and cybersecurity experts working together to create stronger defenses against cyber threats. In conclusion, the breach of the TJX companies in 2005 was a watershed moment in the world of cybersecurity. It revealed the serious risks facing organizations handling sensitive customer data and helped shape the future of data protection practices. As we look to the future, the focus remains on creating a safer digital environment where customer information is adequately protected from the pervasive threat of cybercrime. The experiences of the past underscore the necessity for continuous vigilance, adaptation, and investment in robust cybersecurity measures to safeguard the interests of businesses and consumers alike. In June 2010, a computer worm named Stuxnet was discovered, and it soon became known as one of the most sophisticated pieces of malware ever created. Stuxnet was unique because it was designed specifically to target industrial control systems. Unlike many other forms of malware that aim to steal personal information or cause system failures, Stuxnet had a very specific purpose: to sabotage Iran's nuclear program. The origins of Stuxnet are often attributed to a collaborative effort between the United States and Israel, who were reportedly concerned about Iran's ambitions to develop a nuclear weapon. The worm itself was remarkable not only for its intricate coding and complexity, but also for the strategic implications of its deployment. Imagine an invisible and highly specialized tool that can infiltrate crucial infrastructures without being detected, causing physical destruction without an on-the-ground military presence. This reality was the essence of Stuxnet. Stuxnet was engineered to target Siemens PLCs, which are programmable logic controllers used in various industrial processes, including those in Iran's uranium enrichment facilities. It is believed to have been introduced into Iran's Natanz facility through an infected USB drive, a method reminiscent of classic espionage tactics. Once inside the system, Stuxnet quietly spread through the network, gathering information and learning about its environment. As it evaded detection, it specifically changed the speeds of the centrifuges used to enrich uranium, causing them to spin out of control while the monitoring systems reported everything running normally. What made Stuxnet extraordinary was its ability to deceive operators. The worm was designed to alter the operations of the centrifuges while simultaneously providing false feedback to the operators, creating a facade of normality. This meticulous design not only allowed it to destroy equipment, but also to delay detection, allowing operators to continue their work under the impression that everything was functioning properly. The sheer precision of Stuxnet raised several questions about the future of cyber warfare. In the past, conflicts were primarily characterized by physical confrontations, but Stuxnet signposted a new era where nations could engage in battles through sophisticated digital means. This form of conflict introduced the potential for significant collateral damage, where civilian systems could also be affected, raising ethical concerns and discussions around the rules of warfare in a digital age. As Stuxnet spread globally, security experts began to dissect its code to understand its mechanisms and implications. Its detection gave rise to an intense wave of research on cybersecurity, as companies and governments rushed to ensure their systems were protected from similar attacks. The discovery of Stuxnet revealed vulnerabilities in the infrastructure that many had not considered, leading to a re-evaluation of how critical systems were secured against potential cyber threats. Interestingly, the impact of Stuxnet has been felt beyond the immediate context of Iran. Industry leaders and government officials worldwide have since recognized the perceived threat of cyber weapons. In many ways, Stuxnet marked a watershed moment, one where the line between traditional military action and cyber operations became increasingly blurred. Furthermore, nations realized the potential of cyber weapons to achieve strategic objectives without risking human lives or overt military engagement. This kind of warfare could pave the way for unprecedented levels of deniability and ambiguity, complicating international relations and conflict dynamics. The discussions surrounding Stuxnet ushered in a renewed interest in cyber strategies, both offensive and defensive. In the years that followed, variations of Stuxnet or similar cyber pathogens have emerged, attacking various sectors, from finance to healthcare. Each new revelation has emphasized the complexities of cybersecurity in a highly interconnected world. Awareness of these threats has propelled innovation in cybersecurity measures, cloud computing security, and the development of better detection systems to confront evolving risks. The Stuxnet incident also has implications for the concept of deterrence in cyber warfare. Just as nuclear weapons introduced a new form of deterrence during the Cold War, the rise of advanced cyber capabilities calls into question how nations will strategize their defenses against non-traditional forms of aggression. Countries are increasingly engaged in trying to outmaneuver each other in the digital realm, leading to potential escalation in cyber-related conflicts. As we reflect on the legacy of Stuxnet, it becomes clear that it signifies more than just a successful cyber operation. It serves as a case study in the evolution of warfare and international security. Similarly, it highlights the necessity for robust cyber hygiene and awareness among both governmental and civilian entities. The digital landscape, with its vast intricacies, calls for constant vigilance and adaptation. This scenario reminds us that in today's world, battles might not always be fought on physical fields, but in the intricate webs of technology that underpin our daily lives. Just as society adapts to technological advances, so too must our approaches to conflict and security evolve to ensure resilience in the face of cyber threats. In conclusion, Stuxnet was a groundbreaking event in the realm of cybersecurity and warfare. Its unique design, targeted objectives, and far-reaching implications have opened up a new chapter in how nations view and conduct cyber operations. The continued exploration of cyber warfare, the innovations it inspires, and the discussions it provokes are vital as we navigate the complexities of an increasingly digital world. Each step taken in understanding Stuxnet leads to greater awareness and preparedness in facing the challenges of the future, showcasing the intertwined fates of technology and security. In July 2015, a significant breach of online privacy unfolded when hackers targeted Ashley Madison, a dating site designed for individuals seeking extramarital relationships. The breach was not just a typical data leak. It revealed a staggering amount of personal information from millions of users. The hackers, who called themselves the Impact Team, claimed their actions were motivated by moral outrage at the site's business practices, which promoted infidelity. Ashley Madison, launched in 2001, marketed itself as a platform for individuals looking to engage in discreet extramarital affairs. The site thrived on the concept that many sought secret connections outside their committed relationships. Users would sign up, create profiles, and pay for credits to communicate with other members. This created a lucrative business model that many found appealing, especially those who desired anonymity in their romantic escapades. When the hacker group unleashed the data in July 2015, the ramifications were immediate and widespread. The leak exposed not only usernames and passwords, but also sensitive information such as real names, addresses, credit card transactions, and even sexual preferences. For millions, this data exposure had the potential to lead to severe personal and professional consequences. As the news broke, many people were thrust into the public eye against their will. Some users were public figures, while others were regular individuals leading everyday lives. The fallout from the leak included cases of public humiliation, divorce, and even threats to personal safety. Individuals who believed their secrets were safe suddenly found themselves cornered by the very public they sought to avoid. Reports emerged of suicides and distressing personal consequences, emphasizing the deep impact of the data breach. The event sparked debates about digital privacy and the ethics of online dating sites. Many questioned the security measures that these platforms had in place to protect their users. Despite Ashley Madison's assurances of confidentiality, the breach exposed significant vulnerabilities in the site's infrastructure. It became clear that the company had underestimated the risks associated with the sensitive nature of the data they were handling. In the aftermath, the incident prompted discussions around online security and the responsibility of companies to safeguard their users' information. It served as a cautionary tale about the necessity for stringent security protocols in handling personal data. Following the breach, Ashley Madison took steps to fortify their security and rebuild their reputation, although trust had been deeply eroded. The breach also led to lawsuits from users who felt that they had been misled by the company regarding their privacy protections. The legal challenges highlighted the ramifications of the breach not just for the individuals affected, but also for the company. The financial consequences were severe, resulting in damages that reverberated throughout the organization. Media coverage of the Ashley Madison leak was rampant, with many outlets diving into the societal implications and the reactions of users. Stories of heartbreak, scandal, and betrayal flooded social media and news platforms. Some media portrayals focused on the humorous aspects of the data leak, while others took a more serious tone, emphasizing the moral and ethical questions raised by the site itself and the hack. In the following years, the Ashley Madison leak continued to influence the conversation around online dating and privacy. Many users became increasingly aware of the risks associated with sharing personal information on digital platforms. The incident served as a wake-up call, prompting individuals to reevaluate their online habits and the platforms they chose to engage with. Through the lens of society, the Ashley Madison leak offered a glimpse into the complex nature of desire, secrecy, and technology. It illuminated the challenges many face in the realm of fidelity and the consequences of living in a world where personal data is often not as secure as one might hope. As individuals navigate relationships in a digital age, the lessons learned from this breach remain relevant and resonant. As online interactions continue to evolve, the Ashley Madison incident stands as a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance when it comes to personal privacy. People are encouraged to think critically about the platforms they use, the information they share, and the potential consequences of their online behaviors. This event not only changed the landscape of online dating, but also highlighted the need for greater transparency and accountability from companies that handle sensitive user data. In conclusion, the Ashley Madison breach serves as an example of the delicate interplay between technology, relationships, and privacy. It reflects the ongoing struggle individuals face as they seek connection in an increasingly digital world, where trust is just as essential as anonymity. In December 2013, millions of shoppers were left in a state of disarray when it was revealed that Target, one of America's largest retail chains, had experienced a significant data breach. This event raised alarms across the nation and highlighted the vulnerabilities in the digital age regarding personal information security. The breach occurred between November 27th and December 15th, right during the height of the holiday shopping season, which was particularly alarming for both consumers and retailers alike. It was reported that approximately 40 million credit and debit card accounts were compromised during this time. This incident stands out not just for the number of accounts affected, but also for the sheer scale and speed with which the hackers were able to infiltrate Target's systems. How did this happen? The attackers gained access to Target's system through an unlikely entry point, a third-party vendor that provided HVAC services to the retailer. This highlights a critical aspect of cybersecurity, the risks associated with supply chain management. Vendors can sometimes be overlooked in security assessments, leading to vulnerabilities that hackers are quick to exploit. Once the hackers had breached Target's defenses, they deployed malware on the company's point-of-sale (POS) systems. This malware was specifically designed to capture the information contained in the magnetic strips of credit and debit cards as they were swiped at checkout. The data collected included not only card numbers, but also expiration dates and cardholder names, all of which can be used for identity theft or fraud. The timing of the breach had a devastating impact on consumers. During the holiday shopping season, many people were using their credit and debit cards to purchase gifts and other items. The realization that their sensitive financial information might have been stolen created a sense of panic. In the wake of the breach, Target took swift action to inform customers, offering credit monitoring services and advising them to remain vigilant regarding their financial accounts. In response to the incident, Target's executives were scrutinized heavily. The breach raised questions about the company's cybersecurity measures and the effectiveness of their response protocols. Investigations revealed that while Target had invested in security, the systems in place were not sufficient to combat the level of sophisticated hacking that occurred. The fallout from the breach was extensive. Target faced customer lawsuits, regulatory fines, and a tarnished reputation. To rebuild trust and secure customer confidence, the company implemented numerous changes. They increased their cybersecurity budget significantly, upgraded payment card systems to include chip technology, and adopted enhanced monitoring techniques to detect unusual activity in their systems. The Target data breach serves as a poignant reminder of the importance of cybersecurity measures for businesses of all sizes. It demonstrated how even the largest corporations could fall victim to cyber threats, which can have profound effects on consumers and businesses alike. The incident also had a ripple effect throughout the retail industry, prompting other companies to reevaluate their own cybersecurity practices. As a result, many retailers began to adopt chip-and-pin credit card technology, which offers an additional layer of security compared to traditional magnetic stripe cards. This new technology has since become a standard practice, aimed at preventing similar data breaches. As time passed, the Target data breach became a prominent case study in cybersecurity training programs. It illustrated not only the vulnerabilities in handling personal financial information, but also the importance of proactive measures in preventing cyber attacks. Companies were urged to regularly assess their security protocols, invest in training for employees, and maintain an ongoing dialogue about the ever-evolving threats in the digital landscape. Today, the repercussions of the Target breach continue to resonate. Consumers have become more aware of the risk associated with sharing their personal information, while businesses have increasingly invested in cybersecurity infrastructure. The incident highlights the need for continuous vigilance and innovation in security practices to guard against future threats. In summary, the Target data breach of 2013 was a stark illustration of the challenges faced by both consumers and businesses in the digital age. It served as a wake-up call to the retail industry and a catalyst for change in how personal data is safeguarded. Through this incident, lessons were learned and changes were implemented, paving the way for safer shopping experiences and stronger cybersecurity measures in the years that followed. The conversation around cybersecurity continues to evolve as new technologies and methodologies emerge. The world of online shopping has transformed with advancements like biometric verification and enhanced encryption protocols. As we move deeper into the digital age, the importance of understanding cybersecurity cannot be overstated. It is a fundamental part of our everyday interactions, especially when it comes to financial transactions. Companies must remain dedicated to protecting their customers, investing both in the latest technology and in the wisdom of experienced cybersecurity professionals. Ultimately, the Target breach was an important chapter in the ongoing narrative of cybersecurity threats and responses. While it exposed vulnerabilities in one of the most well-known retail chains, it also sparked a transformation in how businesses and consumers alike approach personal data security. The lessons from that breach will continue to inform best practices and strategies for safeguarding information in our increasingly interconnected world. As we look to the future, we can only hope that continuous advancements in technology and security protocols will help mitigate the risk of similar incidents. The Target data breach remains a case of cautionary tale, underscoring the vital importance of remaining vigilant against the ever-present threat of cyber attacks. It reminds us that the trust we place in our retail and online service providers must be earned through transparency, reliability, and a steadfast commitment to protecting the personal information we all hold dear. In 2011, a significant cyber espionage operation came to light, shedding light on the complexities and challenges of global cybersecurity. This operation, dubbed Operation Shady RAT, revealed an extensive network of cyber intrusions affecting various sectors, including government agencies, multinational corporations, and nonprofit organizations across the globe. The term RAT stands for Remote Access Tool, which is often used in cyber attacks to enable unauthorized control over a system. The inception of Operation Shady RAT dates back to 2006, although it was not until 2011 that it gained widespread attention. Cybersecurity experts discovered that this sophisticated operation had been quietly infiltrating various organizations for several years. The attackers, believed to have links to a state-sponsored group, utilized advanced techniques to breach security measures and extract sensitive information, including intellectual property, strategic plans, and confidential communications. One of the most compelling aspects of Operation Shady RAT is its sheer scale. Reports indicated that over 70 organizations from different industries were targeted, spanning continents and sectors. The attackers seemed to exhibit strategic foresight by selecting targets whose information could provide economic or political advantages. For example, defense contractors, energy companies, and even organizations dedicated to international relations were among those affected, demonstrating that no sector was completely safe from cyber threats. The methods employed by the attackers were sophisticated yet commonly used tactics in the cybersecurity world. They often began with phishing attacks, where the perpetrator sent seemingly innocuous emails designed to trick users into clicking on malicious links or downloading harmful attachments. Once inside a network, the attackers could deploy various tools to establish a command and control environment, allowing them to monitor activities, steal data, and remain undetected for extended periods. One of the noteworthy features of Operation Shady RAT was its stealthy nature. Many organizations had no idea they were under attack until the operation was publicly uncovered. Reports indicated that the intrusions often went unnoticed for months or even years. This raises critical questions regarding the effectiveness of existing cybersecurity measures and the need for organizations to adopt more rigorous security protocols. The impact of Operation Shady RAT was significant. Organizations affected not only faced financial losses due to theft of intellectual property and trade secrets, but also suffered reputational damage. Trust is a paramount currency in business, and when clients and partners learn of security breaches, it can undermine that trust and lead to long-term consequences. Additionally, regulatory implications arose, prompting a closer look at how organizations secure their data. As the operation unfolded, it highlighted the growing importance of cybersecurity awareness and the need for proactive measures in protecting sensitive information. Organizations began investing in better security technologies, staff training, and incident response strategies. Cybersecurity became a boardroom conversation rather than just the responsibility of IT departments. In conclusion, Operation Shady RAT represented a turning point in the field of cybersecurity, illustrating the far-reaching implications of cyber espionage. Its discovery served as a wake-up call to organizations worldwide, driving home the point that cybersecurity is an ongoing battle that requires constant vigilance. The lessons learned from this operation continue to influence how organizations approach security today, making it clear that being prepared for potential cyber threats is no longer an option, but a necessity. The world of cybercrime evolves rapidly, and the vigilance displayed post-Operation Shady RAT is a testament to the importance of adapting to the times in a digitally interconnected environment. In 2016, the world was shocked to learn about two significant data breaches that had impacted Yahoo, a company that had long been a giant in the online space. These breaches were not just any ordinary security incidents, they affected billions of Yahoo users, making them among the largest known hacks in history. This story begins in 2013 when the first breach occurred, although it was not publicly disclosed until years later. Imagine waking up one morning to find your email account had been compromised, and not just yours, but billions of others as well. This was the reality for Yahoo users worldwide. The attackers were able to access a treasure trove of personal information, including names, email addresses, phone numbers, birth dates, and security questions. It was a digital heist that left many wondering how secure their information actually was. By the end of 2016, Yahoo revealed that in total, over 3 billion accounts had been compromised in these breaches. To put that in perspective, nearly every person on the planet could have been impacted. One of the breaches involved a staggering 500 million accounts, while the other affected all 3 billion accounts that existed at the time. The sheer scale of the attacks was unprecedented. As for the hackers, they were believed to be state-sponsored groups, emphasizing the seriousness of the intent behind the attacks. With cyber warfare on the rise, the Yahoo breaches served as a wake-up call not only for the tech industry, but for everyone who uses the internet. This was a clear illustration of how valuable personal information can be in the wrong hands, and how vulnerable even the largest companies can be. The aftermath of the breaches was chaotic. Yahoo took steps to enhance its security measures and inform affected users of the risks associated with their compromised accounts. The company advised users to change their passwords and review their account security settings. However, questions loomed over how such a major company could fail to detect these breaches sooner. The breaches sparked a broader discussion about cybersecurity practices across the industry. Many companies were faced with the challenge of reassessing their security protocols, recognizing that they too could be vulnerable. The event served as a turning point, leading to improved security measures like two-factor authentication, which is now commonplace for many online services. In the years following the breaches, Yahoo went through a significant transformation. The company was acquired by Verizon in 2017, and the consequences of the breaches cast a long shadow over the transition. Yahoo's reputation had taken a hit, and the damage was twofold. Not only had users lost faith in the company's ability to protect their data, but there were also legal ramifications that resulted in lawsuits and financial settlements. The impact of the breaches extended beyond Yahoo. They highlighted the importance of data protection and privacy in the digital age. Users became more aware of the need to safeguard their personal information, leading to a rise in demand for more secure online practices. It prompted many to regularly update their passwords, utilize password managers, and explore additional security features offered by various platforms. In a society increasingly reliant on technology, the Yahoo data breaches served as a crucial reminder that despite advances in digital security, risks remain. People learned that cyber incidents could happen to anyone, regardless of how large or established a company may be. With each passing year, cyber threats evolve, presenting new challenges to personal and organizational security. The Yahoo breaches played a significant role in shaping conversations around cybersecurity and privacy practices, affecting how users and companies approach online safety today. In essence, the Yahoo data breaches were a pivotal moment in Internet history. They served as a catalyst for change and a wake-up call for millions of users and companies alike. By reflecting on these events, we can better understand the challenges of digital security in a world where our personal information is both vulnerable and valuable. As we navigate through the complexities of an ever-evolving digital landscape, the lessons learned from these breaches remain as relevant as ever. Recognizing the importance of vigilance, not only companies, but individuals too, must remain proactive in protecting their personal data. The Yahoo breaches stand as a reminder that while we can't control everything in the digital realm, we can certainly take steps to ensure our online presence remains as secure as possible. Each individual plays a part in the broader security ecosystem, and as we continue to engage in the technological advancements of our time, it is imperative to stay informed and resilient against the evolving threats that exist. The story of Yahoo serves not just as a tale of failure, but also as a beacon of awareness, urging us all to protect our digital lives. The Dark Overlord is a name that echoes in the realm of cybercrime, particularly noted for its audacious hacks and high-stakes ransom demands. Operating in the shadows of the digital landscape, this group has gained notoriety by targeting high-profile companies and individuals, exposing sensitive and confidential information to the public, and demanding hefty sums in exchange for its silence. The methods employed by this group highlight both the vulnerabilities within major organizations and the persistent threat that cybercriminals pose in an increasingly digital world. To grasp the significance of the Dark Overlord's activities, one must first understand the broader context of hacking and cybercrime. Hackers have existed for decades, with their motives ranging widely from curiosity and experimentation to financial gain and political activism. What separates the Dark Overlord from other hacking groups is their blatant approach to extortion and the sophisticated tactics they employ to infiltrate secure systems. The group's operations often begin with reconnaissance, a phase where they gather as much information as possible about their target. This may include identifying weaknesses in the target's security infrastructure, understanding the technology they use, and mapping out the key personnel who have access to sensitive information. This strategic approach allows them to exploit vulnerabilities, often resulting in data breaches that can impact thousands or even millions of individuals. The Dark Overlord has targeted various sectors, including healthcare, entertainment, and finance. One notorious incident involved the hacking of a major healthcare provider, where the group leaked confidential patient records, financial information, and internal communications. The leaked information not only jeopardized the privacy of countless individuals, but also put the reputation and financial health of the company at stake. Ransomware attacks are a signature aspect of the Dark Overlord strategy. Once they breach a system, they'll encrypt critical data, rendering it inaccessible to the organization. They then demand a ransom to decrypt the data, often communicating through dark web channels to maintain anonymity. The financial implications of such attacks can be devastating, leading to inflated costs for recovery, potential legal fees, and the intangible loss of public trust. Public reaction plays an essential role in the effectiveness of their tactics. When high-profile organizations are targeted, the media coverage intensifies and public scrutiny increases. This pressure can often lead to swift negotiations, as affected companies scramble to rectify the situation and mitigate damage. For instance, when a major production studio was hacked, leaked scripts and confidential contracts were made public, creating a firestorm in the entertainment industry. The studio, faced with the impending release of sensitive content, opted to engage with the hackers, igniting debates over ethics, security, and the future of corporate data protection. An additional layer to the Dark Overlord's operations is their emphasis on psychological warfare. By exposing confidential information and threatening to release more, they create a climate of fear among their targets. This tactic often leads to hasty decisions, where companies may choose to pay ransoms to avoid reputation damage, rather than reflecting on long-term solutions to enhance security resilience. Security experts continuously emphasize the importance of robust cybersecurity measures. Organizations are encouraged to fortify their defenses by conducting regular audits, implementing multi-factor authentication, and investing in employee education to recognize potential phishing attempts and other manipulative tactics. Despite these measures, cybercriminals remain 2 steps ahead, constantly evolving their methods and seeking new targets. Detecting and defending against threats like the Dark Overlord is a challenge that encompasses the entire digital ecosystem. The shared responsibility model emphasizes collaboration between the public and private sectors, focusing on information sharing and joint responsiveness to emerging threats. Cybersecurity solutions often involve a fusion of technology, human expertise, and proactive conflict monitoring to anticipate potential breaches before they occur. The ever-changing landscape of cybercrime showcases how creativity intertwines with technology. Hacking groups like the Dark Overlord exemplify this intersection, highlighting the skills required to infiltrate sophisticated systems. These malicious experts stay informed about technological advancements and adapt their methods accordingly, using sophisticated tools that allow them to bypass traditional safeguards and exploit human error. In conclusion, the Dark Overlord embodies a significant aspect of contemporary cybercrime, illustrating the perils associated with inadequate security in a digital age. As organizations continue to grapple with the challenges posed by these malicious entities, the advancement of cybersecurity measures becomes even more critical. The sophisticated nature of their operations and the ramifications of their actions underline the urgent need for vigilance and proactive defense strategies within all sectors. Awareness and preparation may not eliminate the threat entirely, but they contribute to fostering a safer digital environment for everyone. In May 2017, the world witnessed one of the most significant cyber attacks in history, known as the WannaCry ransomware attack. This global incident quickly spread across the globe, targeting thousands of computers and affecting various organizations, from hospitals to businesses. To understand the impact of WannaCry, it is essential to explore how this malicious software operated, the methods of its spread, and the lessons learned from this event. WannaCry is a type of ransomware, which means it locks users out of their files or systems until a ransom is paid. This particular strain encrypted users' files and displayed a message demanding payment in Bitcoin, a form of cryptocurrency that is known for its anonymity. The amount demanded was typically set to around 00, but this could increase to 00 if the payment was not made promptly. The use of Bitcoin was strategic, as it made tracing the transactions more challenging for law enforcement agencies. The attack took advantage of a vulnerability in Microsoft Windows, specifically in older versions that had not been updated with the latest security patches. The vulnerability, known as Eternal Blue, was initially developed by the United States National Security Agency, NSA, and was leaked by a hacking group called the Shadow Brokers. This incident underscored the importance of cybersecurity practices, since outdated software can leave systems exposed to attacks. When WannaCry hit, it spread rapidly by exploiting this vulnerability through a self-replicating mechanism. Once a single machine was infected, it could easily reach out to other devices on the same network, propagating the ransomware across the organization. This method allowed it to infect an estimated 200,000 computers in over 150 countries within just a few days. Many of the affected machines were part of critical infrastructures, including healthcare systems, which faced severe disruptions in their operations. One of the most striking cases occurred in the United Kingdom, where the National Health Service, NHS, was severely impacted. Hospitals and clinics reported being unable to access vital patient records, leading to canceled appointments and surgeries. The attack not only caused chaos in hospital systems, but also raised concerns about the safety and security of patient data. Other organizations like FedEx and Telefonica also faced significant disruptions. The response to WannaCry involved various strategies by cybersecurity experts and governments worldwide. Many organizations were prompted to strengthen their cybersecurity measures, including regular updating of software and implementing better backup systems. The incident was a stark reminder of the importance of taking proactive steps to protect against potential cyber threats. Interestingly, a security researcher named Marcus Hutchins discovered a, quote, kill switch within the ransomware's code. By registering a specific web address that WannaCry was attempting to contact, he was able to halt the spread of the attack temporarily. This heroic effort showcased the critical role cybersecurity professionals play in combating threats and the importance of collaboration in addressing cyber incidents. The aftermath of WannaCry led to discussions about the ethical implications of cybersecurity practices. The incident raised questions about responsible disclosure of vulnerabilities, particularly the debate surrounding government stockpiles of exploitable software flaws. Should security agencies keep these vulnerabilities secret to use in intelligence operations, or should they release information to the public to ensure organizations can protect themselves? In the months and years following the attack, various initiatives were launched to enhance global cybersecurity. Governments began investing more in cybersecurity infrastructure, while international cooperation increased to combat cybercrime. The WannaCry incident served as a wake-up call that emphasized the interconnectedness of our digital world and the importance of shared responsibility in maintaining security. WannaCry demonstrated that technology is a double-edged sword. While it has the power to connect people and drive innovation, it can also be exploited by malicious actors. This incident illustrated the urgent need for organizations to take a proactive stance in safeguarding their digital environments. Regularly updating software, educating employees on cybersecurity practices, and establishing robust incident response plans are essential steps that can help mitigate the risk of future attacks. In conclusion, the WannaCry ransomware attack is a pivotal event in the realm of cybersecurity. It exposed vulnerabilities in systems that many organizations had overlooked and underscored the pressing need for vigilance in an increasingly digital world. The legacy of WannaCry continues to influence how organizations approach cybersecurity today, emphasizing the importance of preparedness and collaboration in addressing emerging threats in the cyber landscape. As technology continues to evolve, the responsibility to stay ahead of potential risks will remain a top priority for everyone in the digital age. In 2009, a significant and stealthy wave of cyber attacks, which became known as Operation Aurora, began to unfold. This operation was notable not only for its scale, but also for its targets, which included high-profile companies such as Google, Adobe, and many others in various sectors. This series of attacks highlighted the vulnerabilities present in many organizations and the increasing sophistication of cyber adversaries. The attacks were reportedly initiated from Chinese sources, though many aspects of their exact origins remain murky even today. The tactics employed by the attackers were rather advanced, involving not just brute force attempts, but also carefully orchestrated strategies to infiltrate networks, making them particularly challenging to detect. For instance, rather than relying solely on malware to breach security measures, the intruders often used social engineering methods. This involved manipulating personnel within the targeted organizations to gain access, often through seemingly innocuous emails that contained links to malicious websites or attachments laden with harmful software. Google emerged as one of the most publicized victims of Operation Aurora. Many remember how the tech giant stepped forward to disclose the intrusion, raising alarms about the security of data and privacy on a global scale. The attackers managed to access Gmail accounts of Chinese human rights activists, indicating not just a commercial motive, but also potential political motivations behind the attacks. This revelation led Google to reconsider the way it operated in China, highlighting the broader implications of cyber surveillance and information suppression. In addition to Google, Adobe was also severely affected during this operation. Documents and source code belonging to Adobe products were compromised. This breach led to concerns about the integrity and security of software that was widely used across different industries. The stolen intellectual property could have allowed malicious actors to exploit vulnerabilities in Adobe's products, potentially impacting millions of users worldwide. The broader impact of Operation Aurora went beyond the immediate losses suffered by these companies. It prompted a wake-up call within the tech industry and served to intensify awareness surrounding cybersecurity. Organizations began to realize the necessity of investing in robust security measures, enhancing their protocols, and educating their employees about the risks posed by cyber threats. This included training programs designed to make staff more adept at recognizing phishing attempts and other forms of cyber deception. In the wake of Operation Aurora, many companies turned to enhanced security strategies. The adoption of advanced encryption technologies became more prevalent, alongside the implementation of multi-factor authentication. Businesses across the board sharpened their focus on detecting intrusions and responding quickly to any signs of a breach. Industry collaboration also intensified, with many organizations sharing threat intelligence to combat the evolving landscape of cyber threats. Governments, too, took note of this incident. It spurred discussion about national security and the role that cybersecurity plays in international relations. The fact that high-tech companies could be attacked so effortlessly raised questions regarding the protection of data and intellectual property from state-sponsored cyber attacks. Some countries began to reevaluate their cybersecurity policies and invest in defense mechanisms to fortify crucial sectors against such digital threats. As the incident settled into the historical narrative of cybersecurity challenges, it became a case study for both lessons learned and strategies developed in response. The aftermath of Operation Aurora saw security experts analyzing the tactics used by attackers and advocating for proactive measures rather than reactive ones. Organizations around the globe began to realize that cybersecurity is not merely an IT issue, but a responsibility that touches every facet of a company, requiring a holistic approach to defense. One key takeaway from Operation Aurora is the importance of continuous vigilance. Cyber threats often evolve and adapt, making it essential for organizations to keep pace with current trends in cybersecurity. The understanding that threats can emerge from unexpected sources or take unforeseen forms creates an environment where companies must remain agile and ready to defend against new types of attacks. Furthermore, Operation Aurora underscored the need for transparency. The willingness of companies like Google to publicly acknowledge their vulnerabilities and the nature of the attacks served as an essential reminder that open communication is vital in the digital age. Sharing experiences and solutions not only strengthens the individual organization, but also contributes to the resilience of the broader digital ecosystem. As we reflect on Operation Aurora, it raises compelling questions about how our interconnectedness in the digital world is both a strength and a potential weakness. The balance between technology and security will continue to shape our experience as we navigate through an era increasingly defined by data and information exchange. The lessons learned from these cyber attacks underscore the imperative for individuals and organizations to prioritize cybersecurity in everything they do, fostering a culture of awareness and preparedness that will ultimately contribute to a safer digital future. The story of Operation Aurora also highlights the ongoing struggle that various industries face against a backdrop of growing cyber threats. It reinforces the idea that in an era where technology is at the core of operational success, a proactive stance on security is the best strategy to mitigate risks. As attacks become more sophisticated, so too must the defenses put in place. It is no longer sufficient to merely react. The approach must be anticipatory, grounded in a commitment to innovation and resilience. While many incidents may fade into obscurity, the impact of Operation Aurora remains relevant as we continue to witness the evolution of cyber threats. Each new development in technology presents an opportunity for potential exploitation, meaning that the vigilance seen in the aftermath of Operation Aurora is as necessary today as it was during the attacks. The incident serves as a potent reminder that in the world of technology, security and innovation must advance hand in hand to ensure a stable and secure environment for all those who engage with the digital landscape. As we proceed further into the landscape of the 21st century, it is clear that the cybersecurity challenges initiated by Operation Aurora are far from resolved. Organizations continue to grapple with similar assaults, and each new breach adds another layer of complexity to an already intricate web of digital safety. The continuous cycle of attack and defense will remain a defining feature of our digital lives, prompting ongoing research into security solutions and the development of strategies to navigate the ever-changing terrain of cyber threats. Whether through advancements in cybersecurity technology, the creation of more robust regulatory frameworks, or the cultivation of an informed and aware populace, The lessons drawn from Operation Aurora serve as not just reminders, but catalyzers for action. The digital realm is undoubtedly fraught with challenges, yet it is also rich with potential for innovation and collaboration. In essence, the legacy of Operation Aurora reinforces the idea that cybersecurity is a shared responsibility that crosses sectors, borders, and individual interests. To fully harness the benefits of the digital age while minimizing the risks, we must remain united in our commitment to security, fostering an environment where knowledge, awareness, and readiness can flourish. The evolution of our technological landscape requires us to stay vigilant, learning from past experiences and adapting to new realities in the world of cybersecurity. As the narrative continues to unfold, one thing is certain: the battle against cyber threats is ongoing and requires our unwavering commitment to resilience and improvement in the face of evolving challenges. In 2015, a significant breach in cybersecurity made headlines when hackers infiltrated the United States Office of Personnel Management, or OPM. This breach resulted in the theft of millions of personal records, making it one of the largest data breaches in U.S. history. The implications of the OPM data breach were profound, touching the lives of millions of government employees and contractors, as well as their families. To understand the gravity of this event, it helps to know what the Office of Personnel Management does. Established in the early part of the 20th century, OPM is responsible for managing the federal workforce. This includes overseeing the hiring process, maintaining records of federal employees, and administering employee benefits. In essence, OPM acts as the backbone of human resources for the federal government, holding sensitive information about individuals who serve in various capacities. In the lead-up to the breach, OPM had accumulated vast databases containing personally identifiable information, or PII, of millions of individuals. This data included social security numbers, addresses, dates of birth, and even sensitive information related to security clearances and background checks. When the hackers gained access to this treasure trove of information, the consequences would resonate for years to come. The hackers hit OPM with sophisticated methods, exploiting vulnerabilities in the agency's computer systems. While the exact details of how the hackers broke in remain complicated, it is known that they used tactics to bypass security measures that had been put in place to protect this sensitive information. The breach was discovered in mid-2015, but investigations later revealed that the unauthorized access had been occurring for months before it was finally detected. Once OPM officials became aware of the breach, they faced the daunting task of assessing the damage. Initial estimates suggested that hackers had stolen records of approximately 4 million individuals. However, as investigations continued, that number escalated. By the end of the year, it was revealed that the breach had actually affected around 22 million people. This staggering figure included not just current and former federal employees, but also their families, and even individuals who had undergone background checks for security clearance in various federal capacities. The fallout from the OPM data breach was immediate and widespread. Individuals whose personal information had been compromised faced heightened risks of identity theft and fraud. The stolen data provided hackers with a comprehensive view of individuals, making it easier for them to impersonate someone or engage in criminal activities using their information. The feeling of vulnerability was palpable, as many realized that their private lives had been exposed to malicious actors. In response to this event, the federal government initiated a series of changes aimed at reinforcing cybersecurity measures. They invested in advanced technologies and implemented new protocols for data protection. Agencies across the government were encouraged to review their security practices, shifting towards more robust systems designed to prevent such breaches from occurring in the future. Moreover, OPM began offering credit monitoring services to those affected, attempting to mitigate some of the risks associated with the data leak. However, the damage was not merely confined to the individuals whose records were stolen. The OPM data breach also had broader implications for public trust in government agencies. Many citizens grew increasingly concerned about the security of their personal information and questioned how well their data was being protected. This lack of confidence was particularly troubling for an agency that existed to serve and safeguard the workforce that powers the federal government. Lessons learned from the OPM breach have reinforced the importance of cybersecurity across all sectors. Organizations, both public and private, have been compelled to take a more proactive stance in identifying vulnerabilities and strengthening their defenses. The breach emphasized that the role of cybersecurity is no longer just an IT issue, but a fundamental aspect of organizational risk management. As we look back at the OPM Data Breach, it is clear that it serves as a case study in both the challenges and responsibilities that come with handling sensitive information. The rapid evolution of technology and increasing sophistication of cyber threats mean that vigilance in cybersecurity is more vital than ever. Efforts to educate individuals about best practices in safeguarding personal information have also become a priority. Simple steps such as using strong passwords, enabling two-factor authentication, and staying vigilant against phishing scams can go a long way in reducing the risk of falling victim to identity theft. The conversation surrounding data security continues to evolve as new threats emerge and more complex technologies are developed. The OPM Data Breach, while a painful chapter in the history of cybersecurity, has pushed forward the nation's understanding of how critical it is to protect information in our digital age. In the wake of such major breaches, public awareness and the call for accountability only grow stronger. The necessity for transparency in how organizations manage and protect data is increasingly recognized. The OPM incident has set a precedent for future discussions about privacy, security, and the fundamental rights of individuals in a connected world. As technology advances and the landscape of cybersecurity shifts, it will be vital for all entities, be they governmental or corporate, to prioritize personal data protection. The lessons learned from the OPM breach highlight that the battle against cybercrime is ongoing, and that establishing rigorous security standards is not just a regulatory requirement, but a moral obligation. The world continues to watch how breaches like the one experienced by OPM shape policies, attitudes, and practices in data management and cybersecurity. Each incident serves as a reminder of the critical need for diligence in protecting sensitive information and earning back the trust of the people who place their faith in these systems. How we respond to and learn from past breaches will ultimately determine the resilience of our digital future. In 2017, one of the most significant cybersecurity incidents occurred when Equifax, one of the largest credit reporting agencies in the world, experienced a data breach that compromised the personal information of 147 million individuals. The breach was particularly alarming due to the sensitive nature of the data involved. Equifax is responsible for collecting and maintaining the credit information of millions of consumers. This includes personal details such as names, social security numbers, birth dates, addresses, and, in some cases, driver's license numbers. The information that was exposed during the breach provided cybercriminals with the tools they needed to commit identity theft and fraud. The breach was discovered in July 2017 and publicly announced in September of the same year. Equifax revealed that hackers had exploited a vulnerability in their web application framework, which made it possible for them to access the company's databases where personal information was stored. This vulnerability was part of a commonly used software, Apache Struts, and was a security flaw that had been identified and patched by the Apache Software Foundation a few months prior to the breach. However, Equifax failed to apply the necessary updates that could have sealed this security gap. The impact of the breach was massive. It affected nearly half of the U.S. population, and the exposed data could lead to significant risks for identity theft. Consumers were left in a state of uncertainty, worried about their personal information and the potential for fraudulent activities carried out in their name. Equifax offered free credit monitoring services as a way to mitigate the damage and help affected individuals monitor their credit report for any unusual activity. However, the trust between consumers and credit reporting agencies was shaken, prompting many to question the safety of their personal information. As a result of the breach, Equifax faced significant backlash, including scrutiny from lawmakers and regulators. A series of congressional hearings were held, during which Equifax executives were questioned about the breach and the company's response. Lawmakers demanded to know why Equifax had failed to patch a known vulnerability and why it took so long to inform the public. The lack of transparency and the perceived negligence of Equifax in maintaining consumer data security led to widespread criticism. In July 2019, Equifax reached a settlement that was one of the largest data breach settlements in U.S. history, totaling up to $00 million. This settlement included compensation for affected consumers, including free credit monitoring services, and the option for individuals to claim cash payments. Additionally, the settlement aimed to enhance the company's security practices to prevent such incidents from occurring in the future. The Equifax data breach served as a wake-up call for many organizations regarding the importance of data security and consumer privacy. It highlighted the need for businesses to have strong cybersecurity measures in place to protect sensitive personal information. Many companies began to reevaluate their security protocols in the aftermath, realizing that a single vulnerability could lead to catastrophic consequences. In the wake of the breach, consumers became more aware of their own personal data security. There was a significant increase in interest around credit monitoring services, identity theft protection, and understanding how to safeguard personal information. People began taking proactive steps, such as regularly checking their credit reports, placing freezes or fraud alerts on their credit files, and being more cautious with sharing personal data. Moreover, the incident sparked discussions about legislation and greater regulatory oversight in the realm of data protection. Lawmakers began to propose new laws aimed at improving consumer protection and requiring greater accountability from companies that handle sensitive information. This was a crucial step towards creating a more secure digital landscape for consumers in the future. The realm of cybersecurity continues to evolve. The lessons learned from the Equifax breach influence not only how companies approach data security, but also how individuals manage their personal information online. The importance of strong, unique passwords, awareness of phishing scams, and understanding the implications of sharing personal data on social media became more prominent in public consciousness. In summary, the Equifax data breach stands as a pivotal moment in the landscape of cybersecurity. It exposed vulnerabilities in the systems that are supposed to protect consumer data and raised essential conversations about privacy, data security, and the responsibility of corporations to safeguard their clients' information. The fallout from this incident continues to shape practices and policies in the fields of data protection and consumer rights. The incident remains a reminder of the critical importance of vigilance in the digital age, both for consumers and companies alike, emphasizing that in today's interconnected world, the responsibility for safeguarding personal information rests on everyone. In the summer of 2016, an event unfolded that would have profound implications for the United States and its political landscape. The Democratic National Committee, or DNC, found itself at the center of a significant controversy when a large number of emails were leaked to the public. This incident was part of a broader narrative surrounding cybersecurity, political transparency, and the evolving nature of election interference. The hacking of the DNC's email system took place amid a highly competitive presidential election process. Emails belonging to the party's officials, data analysts, and leadership were stolen and subsequently released by a group known as WikiLeaks. The content of these emails revealed internal discussions, strategies, and texts that sparked debates about ethics and politics and the transparency of party operations. However, it wasn't just the information contained in the emails that was noteworthy. The very act of hacking and leak raised important questions about cybersecurity and foreign interference in domestic elections. As the news broke out, various media outlets and political analysts began combing through the emails, uncovering a wealth of information that shed light on the DNC's operations. Some of the emails indicated that party officials were discussing ways to undermine rival candidates in the primary elections. This sparked outrage among supporters of those candidates, particularly Senator Bernie Sanders, whose passionate following felt that the playing field had been manipulated and tilted unfairly in favor of then-Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. The fallout from the leak impacted the entire Democratic Party. In the days and weeks following the release, several prominent officials resigned or were forced to step down amid the fallout, including DNC Chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. This reshuffle signified a significant shift within the party as it grappled with the ramifications of the leak. The DNC's struggles served as a reminder of the vulnerabilities in political organizations when it came to technology, data security, and trust. The incident also expanded the conversation around the security of digital data and prompted a larger inquiry into how political parties protect their information. For years, political campaigns had relied on digital tools to reach voters, fundraise, and organize support. The DNC email leak highlighted how quickly that information could fall into adversarial hands and be exploited to sway public sentiment or disrupt political processes. Moreover, the implications of the DNC email leak extended beyond party politics. It raised concerns and fears about foreign interference in American elections. Reports suggested that Russian operatives were behind the hacking, aiming to influence the electoral outcome in favor of Donald Trump. This initiated discussions about the importance of election security and the need for vigilance in the face of evolving cyber threats. The notion that foreign entities could manipulate public information raised alarms about the integrity of the electoral process itself. Just as the story expanded nationally, it caught the attention of political figures and institutions around the world. Different nations took their own stock of vulnerabilities in the face of such incidents, reflecting deeper concerns over sovereignty, data protection, and electoral integrity worldwide. The unexpected intersection of technology and politics reshaped the way elections would be approached in the years that followed. In the context of the 2016 election, the DNC email leak served as a catalyst for political discourse. It fueled debates about ethics, transparency, and the necessary reforms needed to restore public trust in the democratic process. The partisan divisions it exacerbated would ripple through American society, influencing not just the 2016 election, but the broader political climate for years after. As time marched on, the repercussions of the event resonated. The topic of election security transitioned from the fringes of political discourse to a central issue, prompting policymakers and politicians to reckon with the challenges of the digital age. Campaigns began to invest in cybersecurity measures, seeking to prevent similar breaches and to arm their organizations against emerging threats. In essence, the DNC email leak signified a turning point, a moment at which the confluence of technology and politics became unmistakably crucial. As we explored the consequences of this incident, it became clear that the landscape of political campaigns and electoral processes had been irrevocably changed. Questions of loyalty, ethics, and integrity in politics were now seasoned with the need for modernized security protocols and strategies to safeguard confidential information. This event highlighted not only the vulnerabilities present in political organizations, but also the resilience of democratic systems. It exhibited how critical it is for both parties and voters to remain informed and engaged in discussions about the processes that govern them and the institutions that represent them. In the end, the DNC email leak illuminated pathways for future political engagement, underscoring the importance of transparency, cybersecurity, and commitment to the electoral process. In the rapidly changing political environment, safeguarding democracy requires vigilance, collaboration, and a deep understanding of the influences shaping it. History, it seems, had provided a lesson that transcended the immediate scope, inviting all stakeholders to reflect on the frameworks that uphold democratic values and practices in the modern world. The Carbanak cyber gang is a notorious group of cybercriminals whose methods have changed the landscape of cyber theft. Formed in 2013, this gang emerged as a threat that would leave a significant impact on financial institutions across the globe. Their operations spanned several years and resulted in the theft of over $1 billion from banks worldwide. What sets the Carbanak gang apart from other cybercriminal organizations is their sophisticated approach to executing heists. Instead of relying on traditional methods like phishing scams or malware to attack individual accounts, the gang employed a more strategic and nuanced methodology. Understanding the infrastructure of banking systems became a cornerstone of their operations. The gang's name, Carbanak, actually comes from the malware they created to carry out their attacks. This software was specifically designed to target bank networks. Once the malware was installed on a bank system, the gang could operate with uncanny precision, almost as if they were internal employees. They took the time to learn the inner workings of their chosen banks, analyzing the routines and vulnerabilities within the systems. This thorough reconnaissance played a crucial role in their ability to siphon off millions without raising immediate suspicion. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Carbanak gang's operation is how they executed the actual transfers. After gaining access to a bank system, they would monitor the activities for weeks or even months, gathering crucial information about how funds were transferred and how the bank's security protocols functioned. They would often mimic internal processes, making it seem as if the transactions were perfectly legitimate. Their attacks were particularly successful in various countries, including Russia, the United States, and across Europe. In one of the most notable incidents, the gang managed to steal an astonishing amount of money from financial institutions by simply manipulating the bank's internal systems to withdraw funds directly onto prepaid debit cards. They would create fake accounts and then lured unsuspecting bank employees into granting them access under false pretenses. Moreover, the gang also made use of social engineering tactics. In some instances, they would impersonate legitimate bank employees in order to persuade actual employees to grant them access to sensitive financial information. This strategy added another layer to their operations, allowing them to navigate through security measures that were designed to combat such threats. In addition to the sophisticated hacking techniques and social engineering tactics, the Carbanak gang displayed clever adaptability in their operations. They continually updated their methods to match changes in banking security protocols and software defenses. This constant evolution kept them one step ahead of law enforcement and cybersecurity professionals who were attempting to track them down. Despite the global efforts to capture members of the Carbanak gang, they continued to operate with relative impunity for several years. The gang, believed to be operating from Eastern Europe, is thought to comprise skilled hackers and industry insiders who possess significant knowledge about banking and finance. Their understanding of how banks function enabled them to exploit vulnerabilities and evade capture. The impact of the Carbanak gang's activities has led to considerable changes within the banking industry. Financial institutions realized they had to enhance their cybersecurity defenses and adopt more rigorous practices to better safeguard against such sophisticated attacks. In response to the increasing threat of cybercriminals, banks began to invest heavily in security technology and personnel, focusing not only on traditional IT security measures, but also on employee training and awareness to reduce susceptibility to social engineering attacks. The story of the Carbanak cyber gang serves as a cautionary tale about the vulnerabilities that exist in our interconnected world. It highlights the need for constant vigilance and the importance of staying informed about emerging technologies and hacking tactics. Banks and other financial institutions must remain outdated to protect against evolving threats and safeguard both their assets and those of the customers they serve. In summary, the Carbanak cyber gang has become synonymous with high-level cybercrime, showcasing the innovative approaches that can be employed by cybercriminals in the digital age. Their operations underscore the necessity for proactive measures in cybersecurity as technology continues to advance, bringing both efficiency and risk. Understanding these threats is crucial for not only protecting financial institutions, but also for maintaining trust in the digital economy as a whole. In 2018, the world was taken aback by a startling revelation in the hospitality industry, the Marriott data breach. This incident exposed the personal data of over 500 million guests, marking it as one of the largest data breaches in history. It raised important questions about data security and how companies protect the sensitive information of their customers. The breach originated from the Starwood hotel chain, which Marriott had acquired in 2016. This acquisition allowed Marriott to access databases that contained a range of sensitive customer information, but it also brought along significant vulnerabilities. The breach began in 2014 prior to Marriott's acquisition, but remained undiscovered until September 2018. What exactly did this breach entail? The exposed data included names, mailing addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, passport numbers, and even encrypted credit card information. The sheer volume of compromised data was staggering, affecting not only travelers, but also the overall trust people place in global hotel chains. The investigation that followed revealed that hackers had gained access to the Starwood system using a variety of sophisticated techniques. They broke through vulnerabilities that remained unaddressed for years, demonstrating the importance of regularly updating security protocols and maintaining vigilant cybersecurity measures. The attackers employed a combination of methods including phishing and malware, allowing them to infiltrate systems and extract valuable data over an extended period. Marriott took immediate action following the discovery of the breach. They sought to inform affected customers about the incident, emphasizing the importance of monitoring their financial accounts and changing passwords. The company also made efforts to enhance its security measures, including the implementation of advanced encryption technology and the hiring of cybersecurity experts to bolster their defenses against future threats. The fallout from the Marriott data breach extended far beyond immediate financial repercussions. The incident significantly damaged the company's reputation, leading to a loss of customer trust that could take years to rebuild. Customers began to question whether their personal information was safe in the hands of large corporations, and the incident sparked wider discussions within the industry about data protection and transparency. As customers became increasingly aware of privacy concerns, they began demanding greater control over their personal information. This shift prompted many companies, not just in the hospitality sector, but across various industries, to reevaluate their practices related to data security and customer trust. Organizations started to explore more robust data privacy policies, investing in secure technologies, and carrying out thorough risk assessments to identify potential vulnerabilities. The legal implications of the breach were significant as well. Marriott faced a series of lawsuits from both customers and investors, who claimed that the company had failed to safeguard essential personal information. As regulators grew more stringent in their enforcement of data protection laws, Marriott and other companies saw the need to ensure compliance with regulations like the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, enacted in Europe. This situation highlighted the importance of effective data management strategies and improved security measures. In the wake of such incidents, companies began to adopt practices such as regular security audits, employee training on cybersecurity awareness, and increased investment in protective technologies. As technology continues to evolve and integrate into our everyday lives, it is crucial for companies to remain vigilant against cyber threats. The Marriott data breach serves as a reminder of the risks associated with data handling and emphasizes the need for a proactive approach to security. In conclusion, the Marriott data breach of 2018 was a defining moment for the hospitality industry and beyond. It exposed the vulnerabilities present in data handling processes and ignited a larger conversation around cybersecurity. Companies are now more aware of the potential threats they face and the importance of protecting their customer-sensitive information. The incident continues to serve as a case study for best practices in data security and demonstrates that safeguarding personal data is not just a legal obligation, but a crucial aspect of maintaining customer loyalty and trust in an increasingly digital world. In 2015, the telecommunications landscape in the United Kingdom was rocked by a significant cybersecurity incident involving TalkTalk, a major player in the UK telecom market. Known for providing broadband and telecommunications services, TalkTalk was subjected to a severe data breach that sent shockwaves across the industry and raised serious concerns about data security practices. On October 21, 2015, TalkTalk announced that it had been targeted by cybercriminals who gained unauthorized access to sensitive customer information. At the time, the company stated that the breach affected approximately 157,000 customers, compromising various types of personal data. These included names, addresses, dates of birth, email addresses, and phone numbers. More alarmingly, the hackers also managed to access financial information, including bank account details, of around 15,000 customers. The breach highlighted the vulnerabilities that many organizations face in today's digital age. With an increasing reliance on online services and personal data storage, companies must prioritize cybersecurity measures to safeguard their customers. TalkTalk's incident served as a glaring example of what can happen when security protocols are not adequately enforced. Following the attack, TalkTalk faced severe backlash, not only from customers but also from regulatory bodies and the media. The Information Commissioner's Office, ICO, in the UK, launched an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the breach. It was revealed that TalkTalk had previously suffered minor cyber incidents which should have served as a wake-up call for the company. Critics pointed to the lack of robust security measures and the need for improved vigilance in protecting customer data. As part of the fallout from the hack, the company was fined a record £400,000 by the ICO, reflecting the severity of their security failings. This penalty was intended to serve as a reminder to companies about the importance of data protection and the potential consequences of failure to implement necessary safeguards. In response to the incident, TalkTalk made a concerted effort to regain the trust of its customers. The company undertook a major overhaul of its cybersecurity infrastructure, investing millions in improving their systems. This included launching a new security initiative aimed at enhancing the protection of personal information and reinforcing the importance of cybersecurity awareness among employees and customers alike. In addition to these internal changes, TalkTalk also worked to provide assistance to affected customers, offering support such as credit monitoring services to help individuals mitigate potential damage from the exposure of their information. This move was an attempt to demonstrate accountability and commitment to their customer base. The TalkTalk hack served as a catalyst for a broader conversation about data privacy and cybersecurity across various industries. It highlighted the necessity for organizations to be transparent about their security practices and the importance of clear communication with customers regarding how their data is being protected. This incident, along with others during the same time frame, eventually influenced legislation aimed at improving data protection in the UK and Europe. In the wake of the breach, businesses began to take a much closer look at their own security protocols. They recognized that the threats posed by cybercriminals were not just a minor inconvenience, but a potential business-altering event. Companies large and small began investing more into cybersecurity training for their employees, utilizing advanced technologies designed to safeguard sensitive data, and conducting regular audits to identify potential vulnerabilities. Ultimately, as society becomes increasingly interconnected, the discussions and lessons learned from the TalkTalk hack remain more relevant than ever. Organizations recognize that cybersecurity is not merely a technical issue, but also a matter of public trust and ethical responsibility. The experience of TalkTalk profoundly changed the way many people perceive their personal data and how it should be treated. It reinforced the notion that everyone has a role to play in ensuring the safety of their information, whether as consumers or as part of an organization's team. Consumers began to demand greater transparency from companies regarding their data practices and how they manage and protect user information. This incident has also led to a shift in the regulatory landscape. The implementation of the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, in 2018 marked a significant advance in data privacy laws in Europe. GDPR set a higher standard for data protection, requiring organizations to adopt stringent measures for data handling and significantly increasing the penalties for non-compliance. As we reflect on the implications of the TalkTalk hack, it is clear that the digital age presents both vast opportunities and significant risks. Individuals and businesses alike must navigate this landscape with caution. The lessons learned from TalkTalk's experience have become invaluable for shaping a future that prioritizes data security and consumer trust. We live in a world where our digital footprints extend far beyond what we might realize. Keeping abreast of the evolving threats posed by cybercriminals is essential for both individuals and organizations. Establishing robust security practices, vigilant monitoring, and ongoing education about potential threats can equip us to better safeguard our personal information. In conclusion, the TalkTalk hack of 2015 stands as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities that can exist even in well-established organizations. By understanding and learning from such incidents, we can foster a more secure digital environment that respects and protects the privacy of individuals in an increasingly connected world. In September 2018, British Airways, one of the major airlines in the world, experienced a significant breach of its online booking system that raised alarms about data security in the travel industry. This incident exposed the sensitive information of approximately 380,000 transactions, affecting numerous customers who had made bookings with the airline. The attack occurred when cybercriminals managed to infiltrate British Airways' website and mobile app, allowing them to steal personal information in a way that was both sophisticated and stealthy. For customers who had recently purchased tickets through the airline's online platforms, their personal and financial details were at risk. The information compromised included names, addresses, email addresses, and credit card numbers. What makes this breach particularly concerning is the nature of the information that was taken. Credit card details are highly coveted by hackers because they can lead to identity theft and financial fraud. The potential exploits are vast, ranging from unauthorized purchases to the creation of fake accounts in the victims' names. In this case, customers who trusted British Airways with their data found themselves vulnerable to an array of online threats. British Airways swiftly announced the breach, demonstrating its commitment to transparency. The airline informed its customers about the incident and urged them to monitor their bank statements closely. They advised customers who had been impacted to contact their banks to take precautionary measures. This response was crucial in letting customers know that the airline was taking accountability for the situation while also trying to alleviate concerns. The UK's Information Commissioner's Office, which oversees data protection laws, launched an investigation into the breach. British Airways faced potential fines due to violations of the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, which was introduced to protect the personal data of individuals within the European Union. Such regulations have placed a significant responsibility on companies to secure customer data and report breaches in a timely manner. The breach had broader implications for the airline industry as a whole. Trust is paramount in this sector, and customers expect their personal and financial information to be safeguarded. When incidents like this occur, it can lead to a loss of customer loyalty and confidence. Passengers may think twice before sharing their data, which is essential for booking flights online and checking in through digital platforms. In the larger context of cybersecurity, the British Airways incident serves as a reminder of the increasing sophistication of cyberattacks. Many companies across various industries have become targets for hackers seeking valuable data. These attacks often exploit weaknesses in a company's online security measures, and as technology continues to evolve, the necessity for enhanced cybersecurity protocols only grows. Organizations are now investing heavily in cybersecurity solutions to mitigate risks and respond effectively to potential threats. This includes employing advanced encryption techniques, regular software updates, and comprehensive security assessments. Additionally, there is a greater emphasis on training employees to recognize phishing attempts and other social engineering tactics that are commonly used by cybercriminals. Moreover, the British Airways incident prompted discussions about the importance of personal responsibility when it comes to data security. Customers are encouraged to utilize strong, unique passwords for their online accounts and to change them periodically. Being vigilant about monitoring bank accounts and reporting suspicious activity can also help mitigate the impact of such breaches. As we delve deeper into the story, it is clear that the aftermath of the British Airways hack resonates beyond just one incident. Following this breach, many organizations began to reassess their approaches to cybersecurity. Awareness campaigns and efforts to educate consumers about data protection became more prevalent. In the travel industry, the incident served as a cautionary tale. Airlines and travel agencies started to enhance their cybersecurity measures, understanding that they must prioritize the protection of customer data. Initiatives were launched to adopt best practices and adhere to more stringent security measures, allowing them to better protect their passengers from future threats. Ultimately, the British Airways hack exemplifies the interconnectedness of technology, data privacy, and customer trust. In an age where personal information is often stored digitally, breaches can have far-reaching effects. Organizations must acknowledge their role in safeguarding customer data and be proactive in addressing vulnerabilities. Today, it is essential for consumers to remain informed and vigilant regarding their digital security. By recognizing the importance of secure transactions and understanding their rights regarding personal data, individuals can navigate the digital landscape more confidently. The British Airways data breach is a stark reminder of the importance of cybersecurity in modern business practices. It showcases the need for continuous improvement in security protocols and highlights the imperative for transparency and accountability following a crisis. In a world where personal data is a necessity for daily activities, the conversation about data protection must remain at the forefront of public discourse. As we reflect on this incident, we recognize that security is not just a technology issue. It is a pivotal aspect of customer relations and business integrity. Trust, once broken, can take time and effort to rebuild. Yet, it is essential for businesses to strive for better standards and practices, ensuring that customers feel safe and secure in their transactions. Building a culture of cybersecurity awareness and technical competence is crucial not only for airlines, but for every organization handling sensitive information. The lessons learned from the British Airways hack will continue to influence the strategies that companies employ in their quest to protect customer data and maintain their reputation in an ever-evolving digital landscape. In the years following the incident, there have been many discussions and advancements in data security approaches. More companies are now committed to implementing robust security frameworks to prevent such breaches from occurring in the future. As technology advances, the race between security measures and cyber threats continues, reminding us all of the vital importance of safeguarding our personal information in today's hyper-connected world. Ultimately, the British Airways hack serves as an ongoing lesson that vigilance and responsibility on all fronts, both corporate and individual, are necessary to navigate the challenges of our digital age. In the summer of 2019, a significant incident in the realm of data security unfolded, drawing attention to the vulnerabilities that can exist even in well-established organizations. This incident involved Capital One, one of the United States' largest financial services companies, primarily known for its credit card offerings, banking, and auto loans. What transpired was a powerful reminder of the importance of cybersecurity and the perils associated with the mishandling of personal information. The breach was orchestrated by a former employee who took advantage of a vulnerability in the company's cloud storage system. This individual had previously worked in a role that had granted them access to sensitive data, which would later play a crucial role in the execution of the breach. This case underscores how insider threats can often be just as significant, if not more so, than external ones. The vulnerability that was exploited lay within the Amazon Web Services cloud configuration that Capital One was using. Specifically, it involved a misconfigured web application firewall, a security measure designed to filter and monitor HTTP traffic between a web application and the internet. Unfortunately, during its operation, this firewall failed to safeguard the data as intended, leaving a door open for exploitation. With this opening, the former employee was able to access the personal information of over 100 million customers, including names, addresses, credit scores, and, in some cases, social security numbers. In the digital age, such an aggregated amount of sensitive data poses an extensive risk, not only to individuals, but also to the broader financial ecosystem. The response to this incident within Capital One was multifaceted. The company promptly notified the authorities, ranging from local law enforcement to federal agencies. They also initiated measures to inform affected customers, providing insights into what had happened and what steps individuals should take to protect themselves from potential identity theft or financial fraud in light of the breach. While compromises of this nature can seem insidious and almost insurmountable, they also provide valuable lessons, reinforcing the need for stringent data security measures and checks. Companies are often reminded of the necessity of regularly auditing their security arrangements, ensuring that only individuals with appropriate and current permissions can access sensitive and potentially vulnerable information. In Capital One's case, the breach prompted a thorough investigation into security protocols, leading to future enhancements aimed at safeguarding customer data. There is also a legal side to such breaches. Affected companies frequently face a myriad of legal implications and scrutiny in the aftermath of a security incident. In the case of Capital One, they experienced numerous lawsuits and a substantial financial backlash, as customers sought restitution for the stress and potential damages resulting from the breach. This occurrence also reignited a national conversation about data privacy and the responsibilities of companies in safeguarding consumer information. As the public becomes increasingly aware of cybersecurity issues, it's clear that the burden lies not just on individuals to protect their private information, but equally on companies to uphold their end of the bargain by implementing robust security measures. Analysis of the impact of this breach continued long after the incident itself. Researchers, cybersecurity experts, and business leaders examined the event as a case study, outlining what went wrong, what could have been done differently, and what measures can be employed to prevent similar situations in the future. It highlighted the need for technical vigilance and a culture of awareness regarding cybersecurity issues, both on the part of employees and leadership within organizations. As discussions around technology and security evolve, so too does the landscape of threats and vulnerabilities. The Capital One breach serves as a stark reminder of the consequences that can ensue from a seemingly small misstep in digital security. It encourages a reassessment of risk factors associated with technology usage, emphasizing that in the world of data, even a single careless moment can have devastating and far-reaching repercussions. Moreover, it encourages individuals to remain aware and proactive regarding their personal information in the digital realm. The announcements following the breach offered insights into healthy practices for monitoring one's financial footprint, including regular credit checks, establishing alerts for unusual account activity, and understanding one's rights when it comes to personal data. Ultimately, the events surrounding the Capital One breach combined elements of cautionary tales and teachable moments about the complexities of modern data management and cybersecurity. Organizations have an ongoing responsibility to ensure their systems are fortified against internal and external threats, while consumers should remain informed and vigilant, understanding the risks in the digital age. The incident also reinforces the notion that security isn't solely a technical concern, it's a cultural one, deeply rooted in how businesses approach data management and customer trust. As we navigate the complexities of technology, the lessons learned from the Capital One breach resonate on multiple levels. They emphasize the importance of thorough training for employees on security practices, the need for comprehensive data protection policies, and the vigilant oversight required in the ever-evolving landscape of digital information. Ultimately, it becomes quite evident that successful security is built not merely through technology, but through an awareness and a commitment to maintaining trust within the relationship between organizations and consumers. In 2015, one of the largest healthcare data breaches in history occurred when hackers successfully infiltrated Anthem, Inc., a leading health insurance provider in the United States. This incident exposed sensitive information related to nearly 80 million individuals, raising significant concerns about data security and privacy within the healthcare sector. Anthem, Inc., which provides insurance to a vast number of members across the nation, was targeted in a sophisticated cyber attack. It was later revealed that the breach was executed by a highly skilled group of hackers who used advanced techniques to navigate the company's cybersecurity defenses. Upon gaining access to the systems, the hackers obtained a wealth of personal information, including names, birthdays, medical IDs, social security numbers, email addresses, and employment information. The scale and impact of this data breach were unprecedented, as it compromised the financial and medical identities of millions of individuals. The breach was not immediately detected and was only uncovered after the attackers had already collected sensitive data over several months. The lack of timely detection highlights significant vulnerabilities in the security measures employed by large organizations. Following the breach, Anthem, Inc. was under immense scrutiny from regulatory bodies, as well as the public, who questioned the company's ability to safeguard personal information. In response to this incident, Anthem took several steps to bolster its cybersecurity infrastructure and protect its data from future threats. This involved updating and enhancing system security measures, implementing advanced encryption technologies, and conducting extensive employee training to improve awareness about security practices. They also offered affected individuals identity theft protection services to mitigate the potential risks associated with their compromised data. The Anthem data breach served as a wake-up call for other organizations in the healthcare sector and beyond. It highlighted the critical need for robust cybersecurity strategies and risk management protocols. Organizations began to realize that cyber threats are not only a possibility, but a reality that can significantly disrupt operations and damage reputations. The breach prompted many companies to reassess their cybersecurity frameworks, invest in new technologies, and adopt a proactive approach to data protection. After the breach, Anthem faced lawsuits and was required to pay substantial fines. This incident also led to increased regulatory scrutiny across the healthcare industry, with new legislation being proposed to enhance data protection laws. The importance of maintaining the privacy of personal health information became more pronounced, pushing for a national conversation about the best practices for safeguarding sensitive data. Moreover, consumer trust took a hit, as many people became more aware of the risks associated with sharing their personal information. Patients started to question how secure their medical records were and whether their health insurance providers were taking the necessary steps to protect their information. Organizations had to work diligently to rebuild that trust by demonstrating their commitment to safeguarding sensitive information. In the aftermath of the breach, discussions surrounding cybersecurity in healthcare became more common. Experts began to focus on the importance of building a culture of security within organizations, emphasizing the need for ongoing security training and awareness programs for employees at all levels. Cybersecurity should not just be the responsibility of the IT department, but rather a collective effort involving everyone in the organization. Companies started to realize that the cybersecurity landscape is constantly evolving, and staying ahead of potential threats requires continuous investment in security tools and resources. They began exploring modern technologies, such as artificial intelligence and machine learning, to detect anomalies in system behavior that could signify a potential breach. These advancements offered new ways to identify and prevent cyber attacks before they could cause significant harm. The Anthem breach also sparked greater collaboration among businesses, government entities, and cybersecurity firms. Sharing information about threats and vulnerabilities became a priority, as organizations learned that collective efforts were more effective in combating cybercrime. Initiatives aimed at promoting information sharing and developing better cybersecurity standards gained traction, ultimately leading to improved defenses against cyber threats. In conclusion, the Anthem Inc. data breach of 2015 was not just a singular event, but a pivotal moment that changed the landscape of cybersecurity within the healthcare industry. It prompted organizations to reevaluate their security measures, invest in advanced technologies, and foster a culture of awareness across their teams. The lessons learned from this incident continue to resonate, emphasizing the critical need for vigilance and proactive approaches in a world where data breaches are an ever-present threat. The shift toward prioritizing cybersecurity and protecting individual privacy marks a crucial step for organizations striving to navigate an increasingly complex digital environment. In 2016, one of the most audacious cybercrimes in history unfolded, drawing attention from across the globe. It involved the Bangladesh Bank, the country's central banking institution, which became the target of a meticulously planned overseas heist. The story begins with the high-stakes world of international finance, where large sums of money are transferred across the globe at lightning speed. In this fast-paced environment, security is paramount, and trust is essential. The Bangladesh Bank was established in 1972 and has played a crucial role in the country's economy by managing monetary policy, issuing currency, and overseeing the banking sector. Among its many responsibilities, the bank holds reserves in various currencies and manages the country's foreign exchange. That year, the Bangladesh Bank had set up a U.S. Federal Reserve account to facilitate international transactions. This arrangement was an essential lifeline for a country looking to grow its economy through international trade. The heist began on February 4, 2016, when the cybercriminals gained access to the Bangladesh Bank systems. It's believed that they exploited vulnerabilities in the bank's cybersecurity infrastructure, which was not as fortified as it could have been. This initial breach set the stage for what would become a complex and thrilling tale of theft on a grand scale. The attackers managed to install malware, a type of malicious software, on the bank's systems. This malware enabled the criminals to pose as the bank's officials, using fake credentials to communicate with the New York Federal Reserve. The hackers had a specific target, approximately billion. They executed a plan that involved sending a series of fraudulent transfer requests. Each request appeared legitimate, in part because it came from within the bank's own infrastructure. The attackers orchestrated these requests under the cover of night, likely believing they had the perfect cover. Astonishingly, the criminals succeeded in transferring around 1 million before the bank's officials realized something was amiss. The funds were swiftly directed to accounts in the Philippines, where they were converted to cash at casinos and funneled through various channels designed to obscure their origin. It's a fascinating yet alarming reminder of how interconnected modern finance is, but also how vulnerable it can be. The heist sent shockwaves throughout the global banking community, highlighting serious concerns regarding cybersecurity. What made this heist particularly captivating was the sheer audacity of the criminals involved, as well as the foreign territory on which the crime unfolded. Various media outlets and cybersecurity experts delved into the methods used by the hackers. Their sophisticated approach included not just technical prowess, but also an understanding of banking protocols and systems. Once the theft was detected, the Bangladesh bank quickly reached out for help from the FBI and other international agencies. This opened a window into a realm of international criminal investigations, with collaboration across borders as authorities sought to track the misappropriated funds. The Philippines became a focal point, with law enforcement agencies racing against time to locate the money and apprehend those responsible. The investigation revealed several intriguing layers. Law enforcement discovered a network of local casinos that had unwittingly become involved in the money laundering scheme. They had accepted large sums of cash without proper due diligence on the source of the funds. This was a clear example of how gaps in regulatory oversight can facilitate criminal activity. As investigators delved deeper, they encountered a tangled web of financial transactions that showcased the complications of a globalized economy. The fallout from the heist was devastating for the Bangladesh bank. Their reputation took a significant hit as questions arose regarding their cybersecurity measures. It raised widespread concerns about the integrity of financial institutions, particularly in developing countries that may not have the resources to invest in robust cybersecurity measures. Worldwide, banks began evaluating their systems and protocols, seeking to prevent similar incidents from occurring. In the aftermath, numerous discussions emerged regarding the need for stronger cybersecurity laws, improved international cooperation, and more stringent regulations surrounding financial transactions. The heist prompted banks and financial institutions to reassess their risk management strategies and invest heavily in technology designed to combat cyber threats. The Bangladesh bank heist serves as an enduring reminder of the vulnerabilities in the digital age. It underscores the essence of vigilance in cybersecurity and serves as a cautionary tale for institutions worldwide. As technology continues to evolve, so too do the tactics of cybercriminals. This incident became a catalyst for change, pushing organizations to take cybersecurity more seriously than ever before. Moreover, it sparked conversations about the global financial system and how interconnected it is. The heist illustrated how one vulnerability can have cascading effects on a broader scale. It raised necessary questions regarding accountability and responsibilities of financial institutions in protecting public assets. Ultimately, the stolen funds shed light on the often overlooked vulnerabilities within the financial sector, prompting banks to prioritize their digital safety above all else in a world increasingly reliant on technology. The heist remains a remarkable chapter in the annals of cybercrime, ensuring that discussions around cybersecurity will continue to evolve and adapt in response to emerging threats. In many ways, this incident was a wake-up call. Financial institutions around the world have taken it as a lesson to strengthen their security protocols, not just with technology, but by fostering a culture of awareness against such threats. Every employee, from clerks to executive board members, plays a role in maintaining the integrity of financial systems. As technology advances, so do the tactics employed by malicious actors. This cat-and-mouse game between cybersecurity experts and cybercriminals becomes more engaging as technology continues to evolve. Strategies such as enhanced authentication methods, machine learning algorithms that detect anomalies in transaction patterns, and the implementation of multi-factor authentication are among the ways organizations are fortifying their defenses against potential breaches. From a broader perspective, the Bangladesh bank heist illustrates the importance of collaboration between financial institutions and governments worldwide. Cybercrime knows no borders, and the response to such threats necessitates a united front. This incident, therefore, set the stage for more comprehensive international agreements aimed at tackling cybercrime more effectively. In conclusion, the story of the Bangladesh bank heist captivates us not just for its incredible execution, but also for the rich lessons it imparts about modern finance and security. A tale woven through technology, trust, and the intricate web of our global economy, it serves as both a cautionary tale and a catalyst for change. The global financial landscape continues to grapple with the consequences of this historic event while striving to build a more secure future for all. The aftermath of the heist serves as a stark reminder that in this digital age, the vault of the future lies beyond physical walls and requires collective vigilance to safeguard the assets of nations and individuals alike. Magecart has garnered considerable attention in recent years, primarily due to its sophisticated ways of executing credit card fraud through online shopping platforms. The group is notorious for a specific type of cyber attack known as payment skimming. This involves inserting malicious JavaScript code into the checkout pages of various websites, allowing the group to siphon off credit card details right at the moment they are entered by unsuspecting shoppers. Imagine you are shopping online. You are browsing your favorite e-commerce site and finally decide to purchase that new gadget you've had your eye on. After adding the item to your cart, you navigate to the checkout page, where you confidently enter your credit card information. However, unknown to you, the checkout page is compromised. Magecart has inserted its skimming code, which silently captures your data as you fill in the required fields. The method employed by Magecart is often stealthy and can be extremely difficult for the untrained eye to detect. In most cases, it involves exploiting vulnerabilities in the website's code or leveraging third-party scripts that the website might be using, such as analytics or advertising plugins. A seemingly benign script incorporated by the website can be modified to include the skimming code without any noticeable impact on the user's experience. This way, the cybercriminals can harvest sensitive information without generating any suspicion from shoppers or even the website administrators. This tactic points to a much larger problem in the realm of cybersecurity. E-commerce retailers, particularly smaller ones, may lack the resources to monitor their websites constantly, leaving them vulnerable to such attacks. These retailers often rely on external services for analytics or marketing, which may inadvertently become the attack vector. Magecart strikes a network where many websites share common dependencies, leading to a domino effect where multiple sites might become compromised at the same time. One infamous incident that shows the reach and ingenuity of Magecart is the compromise of several major brands, including ticketing services and well-known retail chains. The attack on these companies revealed how deeply ingrained the problem has become. Even household names are not immune. It became clear that as long as credit card transactions are processed online, cybercriminals will find ways to exploit vulnerabilities. Security researchers note that while the immediate goal of Magecart is to steal credit card information, the long-term effects can be far more damaging. Victims of these attacks don't just lose their credit card details. They may also face identity theft, further compromise of personal information, and significant financial loss. The psychological impact of realizing that one's financial information has been intercepted can also not be understated, as it erodes trust in online shopping systems. The emergence of Magecart has spurred countless website owners to prioritize cybersecurity measures. To mitigate the risks associated with such attacks, e-commerce businesses are now actively scrutinizing the code that runs on their sites, conducting regular security assessments, and ensuring that any third-party services are technically sound and monitored for vulnerabilities. Additionally, implementing Content Security Policy, CSP, can act as an additional layer of defense by controlling which scripts are allowed to run on a website, thus minimizing exposure to injected malicious code. Cybersecurity is evolving to address these sophisticated threats. Organizations are investing more in technologies such as real-time behavior monitoring and machine learning to detect unusual activity patterns indicative of skimming attempts. For instance, businesses are using advanced algorithms that analyze user interactions on their checkout pages. If something appears out of the ordinary, such as a sudden spike in form fill attempts or data submission patterns, appropriate alerts can be triggered, enabling swift action. As consumers become increasingly aware of the risks involved in online shopping, industries are encouraged to adopt better practices for both security and consumer education. Shoppers are now more frequently advised to use virtual credit cards and different payment methods, such as digital wallets or transaction services that add an extra layer of protection when shopping online. Awareness campaigns can provide valuable information on how to recognize suspicious websites and how to report them. Researchers and cybersecurity firms are collaborating to monitor the activities of groups like Magecart more closely. By collecting intelligence on their methodologies, tracking their infrastructure, and studying the stolen data trade routes, they can formulate strategies to thwart these attacks before they inflict damage. Despite the relatively small size of the Magecart group compared to larger hacker organizations, their impact has been significant. Their ability to adapt and evolve their tactics in response to enhanced security measures makes them a persistent threat. This reality highlights the necessity for continuous education and vigilance, not only for website operators, but also for consumers shopping online. In the end, the best defense against Magecart-style attacks lies in a collaborative approach. Organizations must prioritize cybersecurity, while consumers should remain informed and proactive about their own online safety. By fostering a culture of cybersecurity awareness, the digital shopping environment can become a safer space for everyone involved. As technology continues to advance, so must the protections that shield it from those who seek to exploit it for malicious gain. In this ongoing battle between cybercriminals and cybersecurity professionals, resilience, adaptation, and education are key. In the fascinating world of cryptocurrencies, few stories capture the imagination quite like the tale of Mt. Gox, a Bitcoin exchange that became infamous for one of the largest heists in financial history. Founded in 2010, Mt. Gox began as a platform for trading Magic the Gathering cards before transitioning into a Bitcoin exchange in 2013. At its peak, it was handling about 70% of all Bitcoin transactions worldwide, making it a pivotal player in the early days of cryptocurrency. Everything changed in early 2014 when Mt. Gox announced that it had been hacked and that approximately 850,000 Bitcoins had been stolen from its wallets. This staggering amount represented a significant portion of the total Bitcoins available at that time and caused a massive shockwave throughout the cryptocurrency community and beyond. To understand the impact of this event, it's important to understand the state of Bitcoin and Mt. Gox before the heist. In 2013, Bitcoin was beginning to gain traction. Its value soared from just a few $100s to more than $1,000. Mt. Gox led the charge in this new asset class, providing an easy-to-use platform for buying and trading Bitcoin. People were drawn to the promise of quick wealth and the allure of a new financial frontier. However, amidst the excitement, there were underlying issues that few seemed to notice. Before the hack, users had complained about slow transaction times, withdrawal issues, and a lack of transparency. These problems were often downplayed by the exchange, which continued to grow in users and popularity. When the hack occurred, it revealed that Mt. Gox had been struggling to secure its digital assets properly. Investigations suggested that the exchange had been vulnerable due to a series of security weaknesses, including outdated software and inadequate measures to protect against unauthorized access. Once the news broke, panic ensued. Bitcoin's price plummeted, and trust in cryptocurrency exchanges took a massive hit. Many users lost their investments overnight, while others were left to ponder the fragility of digital currencies. The fallout from the Mt. Gox hack led to a broader inquiry into the regulatory frameworks governing cryptocurrencies, prompting governments worldwide to consider how to manage these new assets and protect consumers. In the wake of the heist, Mt. Gox filed for bankruptcy protection, and the legal battles that ensued would last for years. Creditors were left wondering if they would ever see their money again, while investigators worked tirelessly to track down the missing Bitcoins. While some were eventually recovered, a significant portion remains elusive to this day. Speculation abounds as to who was behind the hack, with theories ranging from external hackers to internal fraud. An interesting twist in the Mt. Gox saga is the emergence of the figure known as Mark Karpelès, the CEO of Mt. Gox at the time of the heist. He became a scapegoat in the eyes of many who lost their investments. Karpelès was eventually arrested and charged with embezzlement and data manipulation, though he maintained that he was not responsible for the theft. His trial garnered considerable media attention and highlighted the ongoing struggle for accountability and transparency in the cryptocurrency space. The Mt. Gox incident serves as a case study in the importance of security in the digital age. The heist highlighted vulnerabilities in the infrastructure supporting cryptocurrencies and underlined the need for better practices to safeguard assets. It also brought to the forefront the crucial question of trust in a decentralized financial ecosystem. In many ways, the Mt. Gox heist catalyzed changes in the cryptocurrency landscape. Following the event, exchanges began to implement stricter security measures, such as multi-signature wallets and cold storage solutions to protect against theft. Users became more aware of the risks involved in trading digital currencies and the importance of doing due diligence when choosing an exchange. Moreover, the incident led to the emergence of regulatory discussions worldwide. Countries began to recognize the need for frameworks to govern cryptocurrency exchanges and protect consumers. This shift paved the way for legal definitions and standards surrounding digital currencies, ultimately contributing to the maturation of the industry. The story of Mt. Gox continues to unfold, with new developments arising as legal disputes proceed and previous users share their experiences. Some seek restitution, while others use their stories as cautionary tales for newcomers to the world of cryptocurrency. Today, Bitcoin has transformed from the obscure digital currency that Mt. Gox initially supported to a globally recognized asset class. Its market capitalization has skyrocketed, and it has even integrated into mainstream finance, with institutional investors showing interest and governments beginning to consider digital currencies in their monetary policies. Yet, the legacy of the Mt. Gox heist remains a stark reminder of the need for vigilance in the world of digital finance. It highlights the importance of securing assets and the trust between exchanges and their users. The incident teaches valuable lessons about the balance between innovation and risk, a lesson that reverberates through the ongoing evolution of cryptocurrencies. In the aftermath, the community has seen the rise of other exchanges that promote transparency and security, learning from the mistakes of their predecessor. New businesses focus not only on profit, but also on trust and safety, prioritizing the protection of their users' assets above all else. As the cryptocurrency space continues to grow, the Mt. Gox story endures as an example of both the exciting potential and the inherent dangers of a new financial frontier. Even as the industry evolves and adapts, the echoes of Mt. Gox remind us of the need to remain cautious and informed about the assets we choose to engage with in this ever-changing landscape. The tale of Mt. Gox serves as both a historical reference and a lesson in the resilience of innovation. It demonstrates how far the world of cryptocurrencies has come since those early days, as well as the hurdles it must overcome. Each chapter in this ongoing story contributes to our understanding of this fascinating digital revolution. For anyone interested in cryptocurrency, the Mt. Gox incident remains a pivotal moment, a tale of caution, intrigue, and lessons learned. Operation Payback was a series of cyber attacks initiated by the hacktivist group Anonymous in late 2010. This operation was a reaction to various anti-piracy initiatives and efforts that were seen as infringing on freedom of information and creativity on the internet. The movement grew out of a strong belief among participants that access to information should be unrestricted, and that the legal actions taken by corporations and governments to control it were unjust. The roots of Operation Payback can be traced back to earlier incidents where Anonymous had mobilized around issues related to internet freedom. One of the key flashpoints was the fight against the Recording Industry Association of America, or RIAA, which had aggressively pursued individuals and organizations over copyright infringement. The members of Anonymous viewed these actions as heavy-handed and oppressive, creating a sense of solidarity among those who believed in open access to information. In 2010, the scope of Operation Payback widened significantly. The initiative kicked off with a series of coordinated denial-of-service attacks targeting websites affiliated with major anti-piracy organizations, such as the Motion Picture Association of America, MPAA, and the RIAA. These cyber attacks aimed to incapacitate these organizations' online operations, causing disruption and drawing attention to their practices. Essentially, it was a digital revolt against perceived corporate greed and the overreach of regulatory entities. One of the most prominent events during Operation Payback occurred in December 2010, when Anonymous launched attacks against the websites of PayPal, MasterCard, and Visa. These financial institutions had decided to cease processing donations to WikiLeaks, a platform known for publishing classified and often sensitive information. The decision to withdraw support was met with outrage from Anonymous, and many individuals who were supportive of WikiLeaks' mission to promote transparency and accountability. The attacks on these financial sites were significant not only because of their scale, but also due to the messaging behind them. They were about more than just disrupting online services. They represented a broader fight against censorship and the corporations that enforce it. Anonymous used these attacks as a means of protest, employing technology to challenge traditional power structures in a time when many felt that their rights to information were being threatened. The actions of Operation Payback were not without controversy. While many viewed them as a legitimate form of protest, others raised concerns about the legality and morality of their tactics. The blurred lines between activism and cybercrime became a focal point of discussion. People debated the effectiveness of such measures in promoting genuine change versus merely fostering a cycle of retaliation and counter-retaliation, which could diminish the movement's goals. As the operation progressed, it became clear that the reach of Anonymous was extensive. The community was composed of individuals from various backgrounds, including tech-savvy individuals, activists, and others who simply believed in the cause. This inclusivity allowed for a diverse array of skills and motivations, enhancing the operation's effectiveness. The group utilized online forums and social media to communicate and coordinate, demonstrating the power of digital networks in mobilizing collective action. The operations led by Anonymous highlighted how the digital age had transformed methods of protest. Instead of physical demonstrations, the battles occurred in cyberspace. The battle lines were drawn between those advocating for open access to information and those enforcing restrictions under the guise of protecting intellectual property rights. It was a reflection of tensions that resonated not only within the United States, but in many parts of the world where similar anti-piracy measures were debated. In the aftermath of Operation Payback, there were both victories and setbacks. On one hand, the operation successfully raised awareness about the implications of stringent anti-piracy measures and spurred conversations about the state of copyright laws and digital rights. On the other hand, law enforcement agencies ramped up efforts to track down members of Anonymous, leading to arrests and legal repercussions for some participants. This crackdown served as a reminder of the risks involved in cyberactivism, even when motivated by a desire for social change. Ultimately, Operation Payback exemplified how technology could be harnessed as a tool for resistance. It sparked a larger dialogue about internet freedom, censorship, and the nature of activism in the digital age. The incident underscored the ongoing struggle between those who wish to control information and those who advocate for its free flow. As countries and corporations continue to navigate the landscape of digital rights and responsibilities, the lessons learned from Operation Payback continue to resonate. In summary, Operation Payback represents a notable chapter in the story of digital activism. Through their actions, those involved in the operation harnessed technology to challenge existing norms and advocate for what they believed was a fundamental right to access information freely. The event showcased the potency of collective action in an interconnected world and highlighted the complexities of engaging in such a dynamic and rapidly evolving space. As conversations about privacy, censorship, and digital rights continue, the ripple effects of Operation Payback remind us of the enduring struggle for a more open and equitable internet. The story of this operation demonstrates that in the realm of ideas and information, every individual has a role to play, igniting passion and action in the pursuit of a more just digital landscape. In 2012, LinkedIn, one of the largest professional networking platforms, experienced a significant data breach that would send shockwaves through the tech community and highlight the vulnerabilities surrounding online security. This incident affected over 6 million users and brought to light critical discussions about data protection, user privacy, and the responsibility of companies to safeguard sensitive information. The breach occurred when hackers managed to infiltrate LinkedIn servers and steal encrypted passwords. Although the passwords had been encrypted, the method of encryption used was found to be weak, making it easier for cybercriminals to decode them. This event prompted LinkedIn to take immediate action, advising users to change their passwords and enhancing their security measures to prevent future incidents. The implications of this data breach were far-reaching. Users were not only at risk of having their LinkedIn accounts compromised, but also vulnerable to further attacks on other online platforms. Many individuals tend to use the same passwords across multiple sites, which means that a breach in one area could lead to unauthorized access in another. This interconnectedness of user information underscores the critical importance of strong, unique passwords for different accounts. In response to the breach, many users began to pay closer attention to their online security practices. This event coincided with a growing awareness of cybersecurity issues across the web. People started to adopt better password habits, utilizing complex combinations of letters, numbers, and special characters. The rise of password managers became more pronounced during this time, as these tools offer a practical solution for maintaining strong and unique passwords for various online accounts. The LinkedIn breach also served as a catalyst for discussions around the responsibility of tech companies in safeguarding user data. It raised questions about how much responsibility companies have for protecting their users. Should platforms like LinkedIn be held accountable for the security of their systems? Additionally, What should users expect from these companies in terms of transparency regarding data breaches? In the wake of the breach, LinkedIn improved its security protocols and introduced new measures to protect user data. They employed more robust encryption techniques and began implementing two-factor authentication, which requires users to verify their identity through an additional method beyond just a password. This extra layer of security helps prevent unauthorized access, even in cases where a password might be compromised. Moreover, this breach highlighted the importance of regular security audits and vulnerability assessments for online platforms. Over the years, many organizations took note of this incident, realizing that proactive measures could save them from potential breaches. Companies started to invest more in cybersecurity, employing teams dedicated to identifying and mitigating risks before they could be exploited by malicious actors. Interestingly, the LinkedIn breach is not an isolated incident. The digital landscape has seen numerous high-profile data breaches affecting various companies, from tech giants to retail corporations. In many cases, these breaches have exposed millions of user records, further emphasizing that the challenge of online security is an ongoing battle. Each incident provides a lesson, prompting organizations to learn, adapt, and strengthen their defenses. As technology continues to advance, the methods used by hackers become increasingly sophisticated. This cat-and-mouse game between cybersecurity professionals and cybercriminals necessitates continuous innovation in security practices. Organizations must remain vigilant, staying informed about the latest threats and trends in cybersecurity. This includes adopting a culture of security awareness, where employees are trained to recognize potential risks and take appropriate action. Over time, the conversations started by the LinkedIn data breach have led to more significant regulatory changes. Governments around the world have implemented stricter data protection laws, like the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, in Europe, which establishes clear guidelines for how companies must handle user data. These regulations push companies to prioritize user privacy and data security, holding them accountable for any lapses in protection. As users, we also play a crucial role in our own online safety. Being aware of the potential risks and taking proactive steps can make a difference. Regularly updating passwords, being cautious with personal information shared online, and keeping software up to date are simple yet effective ways to help safeguard personal data. In today's digitally consumed world, narratives like that of the LinkedIn data breach remind us of the importance of understanding and navigating the risks associated with online activity. As data breaches continue to make headlines, we are called to become more informed users, encouraging better practices both personally and within the organizations we engage with. Ultimately, the story of the LinkedIn data breach serves as both a cautionary tale and a prompt for progress. It reminds us that while technology has significantly transformed our lives, it has also introduced new challenges that require our attention and action. As we move forward, it is essential to foster a landscape where security is prioritized, not just by companies, but by all individuals participating in the digital world. Maintaining a culture of awareness, vigilance, and strong practices can help mitigate risks and build a safer online community for all. In 2016, the landscape of cybersecurity was forever altered by the emergence of a notorious piece of malware known as Petya. Unlike traditional ransomware, which typically targets individual files and offers decryption in exchange for a ransom, Petya exhibited a more complex and destructive mechanism. It not only encrypted individual files but also seized control of the entire hard drive of the infected device, creating chaos for unsuspecting victims. The initial spread of Petya was facilitated through a variety of methods, most notably through malicious email attachments and exploits targeting vulnerabilities in Windows operating systems. One of the critical factors contributing to the rapid proliferation of this malware was its ability to leverage existing security flaws, particularly a vulnerability known as Eternal Blue. This vulnerability had originally been discovered by the National Security Agency and was subsequently leaked online, allowing cybercriminals to weaponize it. Once Petya had infiltrated a system, it would initiate a process that rendered the entire hard drive inaccessible. Users would be presented with a ransom note demanding payment in Bitcoin, a cryptocurrency that provides a degree of anonymity to its users. The note contained instructions on how to make the payment, along with threats indicating the potential loss of data if the ransom was not paid within a specific time frame. As organizations scrambled to respond to the outbreak, they found themselves grappling with the fallout. The attack affected numerous sectors, including healthcare, finance, and manufacturing, causing significant operational disruptions. One of the most high-profile victims was the pharmaceutical giant Merck, whose global operations were severely hampered by the attack. Hospitals and clinics also reported disruptions to critical services, making it difficult for healthcare professionals to access patient records and treatment plans. In response to the Petya ransomware attack, cybersecurity experts and IT professionals rallied to enhance their defenses. Organizations began to prioritize robust security measures, including regular software updates, employee training on phishing threats, and comprehensive backup strategies. The attack served as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities inherent in increasingly interconnected systems and the importance of vigilance in cybersecurity practices. Furthermore, the Petya attack led to increased collaboration between governments and private sectors to improve cybersecurity infrastructure. Information sharing about threats and vulnerabilities became crucial, as organizations recognized that the need for collective defense was paramount in an era of sophisticated cyber threats. Governments also began to invest more in cybersecurity research and resources to help protect critical infrastructure from similar attacks in the future. In the wake of the Petya attack, a significant amount of research was conducted to understand the techniques used by the malware and how organizations could better protect against such threats. Cybersecurity firms analyzed the code and behavior of Petya to develop more effective detection and prevention strategies. This research not only contributed to the fight against ransomware, but also helped enhance overall resilience against various forms of cybercrime. The Petya ransomware incident was pivotal in shaping the conversation around cybersecurity and ransomware, highlighting the need for comprehensive strategies to mitigate risks. The use of ransomware as a weapon by cybercriminals became increasingly prevalent, and organizations realized that they needed to be proactive rather than reactive in their cybersecurity approaches. This shift in mindset encouraged companies to assess their vulnerabilities continuously and implement more rigorous security protocols. As the years have passed since the emergence of Petya, the lessons learned have led to important advancements in cybersecurity technology. Threat detection systems have become more sophisticated, leveraging artificial intelligence and machine learning to identify and respond to potential threats in real time. Additionally, international cooperation has risen, with countries working together to combat the spread of ransomware and hold cybercriminals accountable. The Petya ransomware attack remains a significant point of reference in discussions about cybersecurity, serving as a warning that cyber threats can arise from the most unexpected sources. Organizations are now more aware of the importance of a security-first mindset and the need to stay informed about emerging threats. The evolving tactics of cybercriminals necessitate a continuous commitment to learning, adaptation, and investment in cybersecurity measures. As we reflect on the Petya attack, it becomes clear that the fight against ransomware and cybercrime is ongoing. It underscores the fact that while technology can enhance our lives in countless ways, it also presents new opportunities for malicious actors. Understanding the past can empower organizations and individuals alike to navigate the ever-changing digital landscape with greater confidence and resilience. By sharing knowledge and experiences related to cyber incidents like Petya, we can collectively strengthen our defenses against future threats. In conclusion, the emergence of the Petya ransomware attack in 2016 marks a crucial chapter in the ongoing saga of cybersecurity. Its impact is felt not just in the immediate consequences for its victims, but also in the lasting changes it brought to the field of cybersecurity. The lessons gathered from this event continue to shape strategies for prevention, detection, and response to cyber threats. As we move forward, it is vital to maintain a proactive approach and remain vigilant in the face of an ever-evolving cyber landscape. In 2018, an audacious cyber heist targeted one of the largest banks in Chile, known as the Bank of Chile. This incident unearthed not only the vulnerabilities within the banking sector, but also shed light on the sophistication and the growing threat of cybercrime. The heist involved a remarkable use of technology and highlighted the very real dangers of modern banking systems. The attack was orchestrated by a group of hackers who harnessed a malicious software known as malware. This particular type of software is designed to disrupt, damage, or gain unauthorized access to computer systems. In the case of the Bank of Chile, the hackers deployed the malware cunningly, allowing them to infiltrate the bank's systems and manipulate them without detection. By causing disruptions to the bank's operations, the hackers were able to create a window of chaos. During this period, they executed a series of fraudulent transactions amounting to approximately 0 million. The sheer scale of the theft and the method employed were alarming and raised significant concerns about the safety of digital banking. As the heist unfolded, it quickly became apparent how cybersecurity threats could manifest in unexpected ways, converting everyday banking operations into a battlefield for protection against criminal activities. The hackers were able to exploit weaknesses in the bank's security infrastructure, leading to significant financial loss and reputational damage. This incident also prompted discussions around the need for stronger cybersecurity measures across financial institutions. In the aftermath of the attack, the Bank of Chile implemented a comprehensive review of their security protocols. This included investing in advanced cybersecurity technologies, employee training, and enhanced monitoring systems to guard against similar attacks in the future. Financial institutions worldwide watched closely, learning valuable lessons about resilience and the importance of safeguarding against cyber threats, which are becoming increasingly sophisticated. Although there were efforts to trace the stolen funds and identify the culprits, the complexity of the digital world made it quite challenging. The anonymity provided by the internet, especially through the use of cryptocurrencies, adds another layer of difficulty to law enforcement in tackling cybercrime. This situation highlighted a broader issue that transcends geographical borders, as cybercriminals can operate from anywhere in the world, targeting institutions far removed from their physical location. The Bank of Chile cyber heist served as a wake-up call, emphasizing the need for organizations to not only focus on the innovation of financial services, but also to prioritize their security. As technology continues to evolve, so do the strategies of cybercriminals. Financial institutions realize that safeguarding customer data and resources is critical for maintaining trust in the financial system. In the years following the heist, the banking sector has seen a shift towards a more collaborative approach in combating cyber threats. Banks, regulators, and cybersecurity experts are increasingly working together to share information and strategies for resistance. This collective effort aims to bolster defenses and create a robust response mechanism to quickly address any suspicious activities before they escalate into larger threats. Public awareness also increased significantly as stories of cyber heists like the one at the Bank of Chile made headlines. Customers began to pay more attention to how their banking data was managed and protected. There were calls for transparency from banks regarding their security practices, driving a demand for clear communication about what measures were in place to protect customers' funds. Cybersecurity experts began advocating for a layered approach to digital security. This includes measures like regular software updates, complex password requirements, and multi-factor authentication. Each of these elements forms a barrier against potential breaches, making it increasingly difficult for hackers to succeed in their ambitions. The story of the Bank of Chile heist is not just a tale of theft, it is a crucial chapter in the ongoing saga of cyber resilience. As technology pushes forward at an unprecedented rate, so too does the need for vigilance and innovation in cybersecurity practices. The heist underscored that, in an interconnected digital world, the consequences of lax security can ripple far beyond immediate financial losses. In conclusion, the audacious cyber heist at the Bank of Chile exemplified the vulnerabilities existing within modern banking systems. It showcased how cybercriminals, through strategic planning and precise execution, could exploit weaknesses to carry out large-scale thefts. However, this incident also led to a significant shift in how banks approach cybersecurity, fostering a culture of awareness and proactive responses to emerging threats. As we move forward, the lessons learned from this event remain pertinent, reminding us that in the realm of technology, constant adaptation and vigilance are key to safeguarding our financial futures. In 2020, a significant event occurred that captured the attention of consumers, businesses, and cybersecurity experts alike. The incident involved Experian, one of the largest credit bureaus in the world, which became the target of a data breach that compromised the personal information of approximately 24 million customers. Experian, headquartered in Dublin, Ireland, is responsible for collecting and selling credit information and data related to consumers for lending and financial institutions. This incident highlighted the vulnerabilities that exist, even within well-established and essential financial services. The breach raised concerns about the integrity of consumer data and the capabilities of organizations to protect that data from unauthorized access. In an age where digital information is paramount, trust in institutions that handle sensitive information is crucial. Consumers often share their data with these companies, believing that their information will be safeguarded against breaches. When breaches like this occur, it shakes that trust to its core. During the breach, hackers gained access to a wide range of personal data, including names, addresses, dates of birth, and social security numbers. This type of information can be exploited in numerous harmful ways, such as identity theft. Identity theft can have devastating effects on individuals, leading to financial ruin, damage to credit scores, and significant emotional distress. The leaked data is essentially a treasure trove for malicious actors, which can enable them to impersonate victims and commit fraud. Moreover, the implications of the Experian breach extend beyond individual harm. They also affect businesses, financial institutions, and the overall economy. Organizations that rely on credit reports to make lending decisions must navigate the complexities of compromised data with caution. This situation necessitates not only a reevaluation of data security practices, but also an adjustment in how consumers perceive and manage their credit information. In the aftermath of the breach, discussions around data privacy and protection gained significant traction. Consumers began to realize the importance of monitoring their credit reports and personal information. The concept of credit monitoring became more relevant than ever, as individuals sought peace of mind in a world of increasing cyber threats. Services that provide alerts when changes occur in credit reports were suddenly more appealing to consumers who were anxious about the security of their information. Additionally, regulatory bodies and lawmakers began to scrutinize the practices of credit bureaus more closely. There were calls for stronger regulations and accountability measures to ensure that these companies could be trusted to protect sensitive consumer data. The breach underscored the need for transparency in how credit agencies operate and how they manage consumer data. As a result, the conversation surrounding data protection became more urgent, with an emphasis on consumers' rights concerning their personal information. Experian's breach also ignited a broader dialogue about the cybersecurity landscape. Businesses in all sectors were reminded of the critical importance of implementing robust security measures. This included regular assessments of vulnerabilities, investment in advanced encryption technologies, and creating a culture of security awareness among employees. Organizations started to view cybersecurity as a vital aspect of their operations, understanding that neglecting it could result in not only reputation damage, but also significant financial repercussions. In the realm of technology, the incident drove innovation in cybersecurity solutions. Companies began to develop more sophisticated methods to protect user data. From artificial intelligence that detects anomalies to multi-factor authentication processes that add layers of security, advancements in technology were spurred by the need to prevent similar breaches. The urgency to modernize security practices and invest in new technologies extended beyond credit bureaus and into every aspect of digital life. The Experian data leak serves as a reminder of the ever-evolving nature of cybersecurity threats. It reinforces the idea that data protection cannot simply be a one-time initiative, but instead requires ongoing commitment and vigilance. As technology continues to advance, so do the tactics used by cybercriminals. This highlights the importance of continual learning and adaptation in the fight against cyber threats. As consumers and businesses navigate this reality, collaboration becomes essential. Cybersecurity is a shared responsibility that encompasses individuals, organizations, and governments. Working together to create a safer digital environment is crucial for mitigating risks associated with data breaches. Education about best practices in data security has become paramount, with more emphasis placed on fostering a culture where everyone is aware of potential threats. In conclusion, the Experian data breach of 2020 was a pivotal moment that underscored the vulnerabilities present in our data-driven society. It not only affected millions of individuals, but also sparked significant discussions about data protection, consumer rights, and the evolving landscape of cybersecurity. As we move forward, the lessons learned from this event will shape the future of how we manage, protect, and interact with our personal information. Trust may take a long time to rebuild, but the collaborative efforts of consumers, businesses, and regulators can pave the way for a more secure and resilient digital world. In 2011, an event occurred that left a significant mark on the gaming community and digital security as a whole. This event was the hacking of the Sony PlayStation network, which would come to be known as one of the largest and most infamous data breaches in history. The fallout from this incident had repercussions that extended beyond just the immediate technical issues. It affected millions of users, altered corporate policies, and changed how we perceive online security. To understand the gravity of this situation, let's first look at what the PlayStation Network, commonly referred to as PSN, actually is. Launched in 2006, PSN is Sony's online gaming and digital media delivery service for the PlayStation consoles. It allows users to connect with others for multiplayer gaming, download games, and access a wide array of entertainment services. By 2011, PSN had amassed a colossal user base of approximately 77 million subscribers, making it one of the most popular online gaming networks worldwide. As the internet and online gaming gained popularity, so too did the interest of cybercriminals. Hackers began to target these platforms, seeking to exploit vulnerabilities and capture sensitive data. In April 2011, hackers successfully breached Sony's security systems, gaining access to the personal information of millions of users. This breach was no small feat. It took a series of sophisticated maneuvers to penetrate Sony's defenses and gain access to such a vast amount of data. The data that was compromised included names, addresses, email addresses, birth dates, usernames, passwords, and even credit card information for a significant number of users. This breach ignited massive concern among users about the safety of their personal information in the digital age. The prospect of having sensitive data exposed made many users skeptical about online services and the information they share. When the news of the hack broke, it created shockwaves within the gaming community and beyond. Sony promptly announced that the PlayStation Network would be taken offline for maintenance. What many initially hoped would be a minor inconvenience turned into an extended period of downtime that lasted for several weeks. This downtime left gamers unable to access their accounts, play online, or download purchased content. The frustration was palpable, as many users took to social media to express their grievances and seek answers about the length of the outage. As the investigation into the hack progressed, Sony discovered that they had failed to adequately protect their systems against such attacks. Critics pointed to the lack of sufficient encryption and security protocols as factors that contributed to the breach. In the wake of the hack, Sony undertook an extensive overhaul of their security measures, implementing stronger encryption techniques, enhanced user authentication systems, and improved overall network security. Moreover, in recognition of the breach's impact on its user base, Sony offered compensation to affected users. They provided a variety of free games, an entire month of free PlayStation Plus membership, and identity theft protection services for affected users. This gesture was intended to rebuild trust with an audience that had felt betrayed by the breach of security. The 2011 hack reshaped the conversation surrounding online privacy and security. It underscored the vulnerability of personal information stored on digital platforms, emphasizing the importance of robust cybersecurity measures. As a result, many companies reevaluated their security protocols and began investing aggressively in encryption technology and other protective measures to safeguard user data. For users, the incident acted as a wake-up call about the necessity of protecting their personal and financial information. Many started to adopt more complex passwords, enable two-factor authentication on their accounts, and monitor their financial statements more closely. The incident highlighted how crucial it is to remain vigilant in the digital space. In the years since the PlayStation Network hack, the gaming landscape has continued to evolve, with increased scrutiny on cybersecurity and personal data protection. As we engage with platforms that demand our information, the knowledge gained from this incident serves as a reminder to prioritize security and demanding accountability from service providers. While the 2011 PlayStation Network hack was certainly a daunting moment for many, it also sparked important conversations and improvements in digital security. Today, as we navigate an increasingly interconnected world, the lessons learned from this event endure, compelling us to take our personal data privacy more seriously and to advocate for stronger security measures in every realm of our online lives. Ultimately, the incident not only transformed the way companies handle sensitive user information, but also changed how individuals approach their digital presence. It serves as a crucial example of the importance of cybersecurity in the broader context of technology and the digital age. As we reflect on this critical event nearly a decade after its occurrence, it is essential to appreciate the ongoing challenges in digital security. Every day, news stories emerge about data breaches and cybersecurity threats across various sectors, from banking to healthcare to social media. The vigilance of both individuals and corporations remains paramount in safeguarding sensitive information and maintaining trust in online services. In conclusion, the Sony PlayStation hack of 2011 served as a significant turning point for the gaming industry and electronic commerce at large. By shining a spotlight on the vulnerabilities inherent in online platforms, it drove home the message that, while technology offers us unprecedented convenience and connection, it also brings with it the responsibility to protect our personal information. This pivotal moment is not just a chapter in the history of gaming, but a global lesson in digital ethics, responsibility, and security that continues to resonate today. In the world of computer hacking during the late 20th century, few names evoke as much intrigue as Kevin Mitnick. By the 1990s, he had become a figure of notoriety, shrouded in the mystique of an elusive hacker who seemed to operate outside the bounds of the law. His exploits are emblematic of an era when the internet was still new, and the concept of cybersecurity was just beginning to emerge from the shadows. Mitnick's approach to hacking was not merely a series of technical breaches, it was a carefully orchestrated game of cat and mouse with law enforcement and corporations alike. What set him apart from many hackers was his unique ability to manipulate not just computers but the people behind them. Through social engineering, Mitnick would often trick employees into divulging sensitive information, granting him access to secured systems without the need for complex technology. To understand Mitnick's most infamous deeds, one must consider the context of the early 1990s. The internet was nascent, not yet the integral part of daily life that it is now. Many organizations had barely begun to understand the risks associated with computer networks. Security measures were often minimal, and many employees were unaware of the dangers of divulging information over the phone or via email. This landscape created a ripe opportunity for a skilled manipulator like Mitnick. Among his many targets, one of the most significant would become known as the Kansas City Swindle. Here, he pulled off audacious feats that showcase his keen understanding of both technology and human psychology. Mitnick's primary tactic involved what is often referred to as social engineering, a term that describes the psychological manipulation of people into performing actions or revealing confidential information. In one of the most well-known incidents during this spree, Mitnick hacked into the systems of several large corporations. He would often impersonate a trusted employee or a technical support staff member. The art of persuasion was crucial in these moments. He would use warmth in his voice, a confident demeanor, and even a fabricated backstory to convince unsuspecting employees to grant him access or provide sensitive information. Imagine for a moment a young employee, fresh out of college, excited about their new job. They receive a phone call from someone who sounds authoritative and knowledgeable, claiming to be from IT. With each question they answer, the stakes gradually increase, and before they know it, they've unwittingly opened the door to sensitive company data. This scenario played out numerous times in Mitnick's exploits, leading to significant implications for the companies involved. One particularly striking example was his infiltration of a well-known telecommunications company, where he managed to access source codes and proprietary software that were highly valuable to the business. This was not just an act of curiosity or rebellion, it showed how deeply vulnerable some of the biggest corporations were at the time. Mitnick's ability to circumvent traditional security measures by exploiting human error raised alarms in industries that had previously thought themselves insulated from such threats. As law enforcement became increasingly aware of his activities, a nationwide manhunt ensued. The chase pitted conventional law enforcement methods against Mitnick's cunning strategies. Each move he made was met with technological advancements designed to catch him, yet he continued to stay one step ahead. He utilized old phone lines and public hotspots, always remaining vigilant and adapting to the growing number of eyes on him. Years later, Mitnick was apprehended and subsequently served time for his crimes. His exploits became lessons for both corporations and individuals on the importance of cybersecurity. With the advancements in technology and the ever-evolving landscape of the internet, one might wonder how much things have really changed. Do companies take these lessons to heart, or do they risk falling prey to the same tactics Mitnick once employed against them? Interestingly, Kevin Mitnick did not fade into obscurity after his release from prison. Instead, he transformed his life and became a public speaker, sharing insights on security and the ethics of hacking. He emphasized the importance of understanding both technological security and human behavior. The lessons learned from his actions reverberate throughout the tech community even today, reminding us that hacking is as much about psychology as it is about technology. The Kansas City Swindle serves as a pivotal chapter in the story of Kevin Mitnick, illustrating the high-stakes world of hacking in an era when the internet was just beginning to be woven into the fabric of everyday life. It highlights how vulnerability is often rooted not just in our systems, but in our human interactions. Through both cunning strategy and a charismatic persona, Mitnick captured the attention of the nation, leaving a lasting legacy not only as a hacker, but as a cautionary figure in the evolving dialogue surrounding cybersecurity and ethical practices in the digital realm. As we reflect on this period in history, it offers insight into the continual dance between security measures and the tactics employed by those who seek to breach them. The technological arms race is ongoing, and the lessons learned from the Kansas City swindle are reminders of the importance of remaining vigilant, educated, and aware in an increasingly interconnected world. Kevin Mitnick's story is not just one of crime. It encapsulates a critical turning point in understanding the complexities of technology, human behavior, and the interplay between them, a narrative that continues to unfold today in ways that are both profound and essential for everyone to understand. The NotPetya Cyberattack of 2017 stands out as one of the most significant and disruptive global cyber incidents in recent history. Originating in Ukraine, this attack had far-reaching effects that rippled across the globe, illustrating the urgent need for robust cybersecurity measures in an increasingly digital world. To understand NotPetya, it is essential to know that it was a variant of ransomware. Ransomware is a type of malicious software that encrypts a victim's files, effectively locking them out of their own data until a ransom is paid. However, NotPetya was distinct. Unlike typical ransomware, which often focuses on extorting victims for financial gain, NotPetya was designed primarily to cause disruption and damage. The attack began on June 27, 2017, when a wave of malware swept through Ukrainian networks, rapidly infecting organizations including government agencies, banks, and infrastructure providers. The initial entry point was linked to a software update for a popular accounting program called Medoc, widely used in Ukraine. This meant that institutions trusting this software were caught off guard, exposing a major vulnerability in their systems. As NotPetya spread, it quickly evolved, using various techniques to propagate itself. Once a single machine was compromised, the malware utilized the Windows management tool called PSExec, along with another exploit named Eternal Blue, to spread across networks. This allowed NotPetya to leap from one machine to another with alarming speed. Organizations that thought their systems were secure found themselves overwhelmed as the malware locked files, rendered data inaccessible, and demanded ransom in the form of cryptocurrency. The impact of NotPetya was profound. In Ukraine, vital services were disrupted. The country's power grid, banks, and even the metro system faced significant interruptions. But the repercussions didn't stop there. Internationally, major corporations found themselves affected as well. Companies like Maersk, which operates one of the world's largest shipping fleets, reported losses in the hundreds of millions due to the disruption of their operations. One of the most interesting aspects of the NotPetya incident was its geopolitical implications. Many experts and officials believe the attack was a state-sponsored act of cyber warfare. The timing coincided with heightened tensions between Ukraine and Russia, prompting suspicion that this was an extension of the ongoing conflict. Ukraine had already faced a series of cyber attacks attributed to Russian aggression, making this theory compelling. The nature of the attack indicated not just a malicious intent, but a strategic move to destabilize Ukraine's economy and infrastructure. Additionally, NotPetya highlighted the challenges in the realm of global cybersecurity response. After the attack, organizations worldwide began reassessing their security practices. The incident served as a wake-up call, emphasizing the need for robust systems that could withstand sophisticated attacks. It became clear that cyber threats were not confined to borders. The interconnected nature of the internet meant that a vulnerability in one country could potentially affect systems thousands of miles away. As the dust settled from the NotPetya attack, companies started to invest more in cybersecurity training for employees. Awareness around phishing scams and safe online practices took on a newfound importance. Organizations began to implement preventative measures, such as more stringent access controls, regular software updates, and enhanced data backup protocols. In the wake of NotPetya, the discourse on cybersecurity evolved significantly. It wasn't just about protecting information. It was about safeguarding operational integrity and ensuring that essential services could remain functional in the face of cyber threats. This incident underscored the critical role of cybersecurity in national security, with nations recognizing that cyber warfare was a legitimate threat to their stability and safety. In summary, the NotPetya Cyberattack of 2017 serves as a crucial study in the importance of vigilance in cybersecurity. From its origins in Ukraine to its global repercussions, the incident demonstrated that cyber risks are real and present, noting that preparedness is the best defense against them. As we move forward in an age increasingly reliant on digital infrastructure, the lessons learned from NotPetya will undoubtedly influence how individuals and organizations alike approach the complex world of cybersecurity in the years to come. The need for constant awareness and proactive measures remains paramount, ensuring that we are better equipped to address the challenges posed by cyber threats in an interconnected world. In the year 2009, a significant event in the world of cybersecurity took place, involving an application called RockYou. This social application was widely popular at that time, and it offered users a way to enhance their profiles on social platforms through the use of third-party applications. However, behind this engaging user interface lay a troubling reality about data security. The RockYou incident serves as a noteworthy case study in understanding the importance of cybersecurity measures. When the breach occurred, it exposed the personal information of over 32 million users. This staggering figure highlights just how vast the potential impact of weak data protection can be, affecting millions of unsuspecting individuals. At the core of this incident was a fundamental failure in security practices. RockYou had implemented a database system to store user information, but they neglected to adequately protect it. Passwords were stored in plain text, meaning that if someone were to gain access to the database, they could easily read and exploit any user's password without any barrier. This oversight was a major contributing factor to the massive leak of sensitive data. Imagine the scenario: users trusting the application with their personal information, unaware that their passwords could easily be accessed by malign entities. The lack of encryption made it a straightforward task for hackers, who could download the database in a matter of minutes and analyze it. In cybersecurity, the simplest errors sometimes result in the gravest consequences. Once the breach was detected, the implications extended far beyond the RockYou platform itself. The exposed passwords were often reused across different sites, meaning that individuals affected by the RockYou breach might find themselves at risk on various other platforms as well. This interconnectedness illustrates a vital point in modern digital life. Users frequently employ the same passwords across multiple services for convenience. While this may seem practical, it can be dangerous when one platform's security is compromised. In the wake of the breach, the exposed passwords were made publicly available on the internet, leading to attempts by malicious actors to exploit this information. Users faced a heightened risk of identity theft, unauthorized access to accounts, and other cybercrimes. As a result, the RockYou incident prompted users and companies alike to rethink their approach to online security. The RockYou breach also served as a clarion call for developers and companies to adopt more robust security practices. The options were clear. Passwords should be hashed and salted, meaning that rather than being stored in plain text, they would be transformed into a random string of characters, creating a significant barrier for any potential hacker attempting to access user data. Following the breach, many organizations began to reassess their own security measures, understanding that they too could be targets. This incident acted as a catalyst for many to put in place multi-factor authentication and advanced encryption methods, ensuring they were not as vulnerable as RockYou had been. Education around password hygiene became more pronounced too, with advice circulating widely about using unique, strong passwords. Companies began to advocate for password managers, which can generate and store complex passwords, thus reducing the reliance on easily guessable or reused passwords. In the aftermath of the RockYou breach, the implications reached further than just one application. It underscored an essential truth in our increasingly digital society: the need for vigilance and a proactive approach to securing personal information online. With every new technology and platform, the landscape of cybersecurity continues to evolve. As we look back at the lessons learned from incidents like the RockYou breach, we can appreciate the strides made in the cybersecurity field since. However, it remains clear that no matter how secure a system may seem, there will always be vulnerabilities to consider. Ultimately, the RockYou Exposed breach serves as a stark reminder of the importance of maintaining strong cybersecurity practices, not only for service providers, but also for users. Every individual has a role to play in this ongoing effort. Whether it is through the sophistication of technology or simplicity in everyday user choices, the lessons learned from this event have paved the way for a more secure online experience. Thus, the story of RockYou continues to resonate within discussions of cybersecurity today. It highlights the crucial imperative of safeguarding our personal information and the inherent risks that accompany our digital activities. Reflecting on the past helps shape a more cautious and informed future as we navigate the complexities of technology and stay connected in an increasingly digital world. With each step forward, individuals and organizations alike must work together to create a safer online environment for all. As we continue to interact with digital platforms, it's essential to remain acutely aware of the security measures in place and to actively engage in protecting our own data. Knowledge is power, especially in this digital age, and understanding the mistakes of the past can guide us towards building a more secure future. The RockYou breach is not just a historical footnote. It is a lesson that continues to resonate, reminding us of the ongoing importance of cybersecurity in our daily lives. In 2014, a significant data breach occurred at JPMorgan Chase, one of the largest banking institutions in the United States. This incident is notable not only for its scale, but also for the sensitive information it compromised. The breach affected approximately 76 million households and 7 million small businesses. It serves as a pivotal example of the vulnerabilities that can exist even within the most secure financial institutions. The attack on JPMorgan Chase was orchestrated by a group of cybercriminals who used sophisticated techniques to infiltrate the bank's systems. Investigators later revealed that the hackers were able to gain access to sensitive data by exploiting a vulnerability in the bank's computer systems. This breach raised concerns about cybersecurity across the entire financial sector, prompting banks and financial institutions to reassess their security measures. As a result of the breach, the personal information of millions of customers was exposed, including names, addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses. Although more sensitive information like passwords, account numbers, and social security numbers was reportedly not compromised, the sheer volume of the data breach was alarming. It highlighted the importance of data security and the potential risks customers face when entrusting their personal information to financial institutions. After the breach was discovered, JPMorgan Chase took immediate action to bolster its security measures. The bank invested heavily in cybersecurity technologies and protocols to prevent similar incidents in the future. This included enhancing its monitoring systems and implementing more robust authentication processes. Cybersecurity became a top priority for the bank, as well as for others in the industry. The aftermath of the breach also had broader implications for the financial sector as a whole. It led to increased scrutiny from regulators and a push for stricter cybersecurity regulations across the banking industry. Financial institutions began to realize that they needed to adopt a proactive approach to cybersecurity, rather than merely reacting to threats after they occurred. Additionally, the breach underlined the importance of consumer awareness regarding personal data security. Customers were urged to take precautions, such as regularly updating passwords and monitoring their financial accounts for any suspicious activity. This incident raised awareness about identity theft and the potential consequences of data breaches, encouraging individuals to be more vigilant in protecting their personal information. Moreover, the JPMorgan Chase breach prompted discussions about the responsibilities of companies to protect customer data. Consumers began to demand greater transparency from businesses regarding how their information was handled and what measures were in place to safeguard it. The incident illustrated that both companies and consumers share a responsibility when it comes to data security. The ramifications of the breach extended beyond immediate concerns, leading to wider conversations about the technological landscape. In an era where data breaches seem to be becoming more commonplace, questions about the ethics of data collection arose. Companies began to explore ways to balance innovative practices with ethical considerations, especially regarding user privacy. Over time, the JPMorgan Chase breach has been referenced in discussions about best practices in cybersecurity. It serves as a case study highlighting the critical importance of regular audits, employee training, and investment in the latest security technologies. Other industries also took note of the incident, applying lessons learned from the breach to their own operations. As subsequent data breaches continued to make headlines, the JPMorgan Chase incident became a pivotal moment in understanding the evolving nature of cyber threats. The landscape of cybersecurity is dynamic, requiring both individuals and organizations to remain vigilant and adaptable. Awareness of the potential risks has grown, leading to a collective push for better security practices and enhanced regulations. In conclusion, the JPMorgan Chase data breach of 2014 stands out as a significant event that highlighted vulnerabilities in cybersecurity. It demonstrated that even well-established institutions are not immune to cyber attacks, and that protecting sensitive information is a shared responsibility. The incident prompted a reevaluation of security measures, greater consumer awareness, and ongoing discussions about the ethical handling of data. As technology continues to evolve, the lessons learned from this breach remain relevant, reminding us of the paramount importance of safeguarding personal information in an interconnected world. In March 2018, the world was rocked by revelations about a data privacy scandal that involved Facebook and a political consulting firm named Cambridge Analytica. This incident has come to symbolize a pivotal moment in the digital age, highlighting both the vulnerabilities of social media platforms and the importance of personal data privacy. The story begins with the rise of social media in the early 21st century. Facebook, founded by Mark Zuckerberg in 2004, quickly grew to become one of the most popular online networks, connecting billions of users across the globe. With the advent of smartphones and an increasing dependence on social media for communication, Facebook became not just a platform for social interaction, but also a treasure trove of personal information. As users shared details about their lives, from daily activities to personal opinions, Facebook began to aggregate this data to create more personalized experiences for its users. Advertisers soon recognized the potential of this data, allowing them to target specific audiences based on their interests, demographics, and behaviors. This setup seemed mutually beneficial. Users received free access to a platform, while companies could tailor their advertisements for greater effectiveness. However, this arrangement had a dark underbelly that many users were blissfully unaware of. In early 2014, a researcher named Alexander Kogan created a personality quiz app called This Is Your Digital Life. While this app appeared innocuous, it was a tool for harvesting personal data. Users who took the quiz not only provided their own information, but also granted access to the data of their Facebook friends. This meant that a seemingly harmless quiz could ultimately expose a vast network of individuals to data scrutiny. Kogan's app was downloaded by approximately 270,000 users, but thanks to the access granted to user friends, the data harvested reached an estimated 87 million individuals. This data was then sold to Cambridge Analytica, a firm that had been involved in political campaigns and was known for its data-driven strategies. Cambridge Analytica used the information to create psychological profiles of voters, aiming to influence them during electoral campaigns, particularly the 2016 United States presidential election. When these details emerged, they sparked outrage across the globe. Many users felt betrayed, realizing that their personal information had been exploited without their explicit consent. The scandal raised critical questions about the ethics of data collection and the responsibilities of social media companies to protect user privacy. This incident was not just a wake-up call for Facebook, it also illuminated the broader issue of data privacy in the digital age. As society increasingly relies on technology for communication, entertainment, and even essential services, the safeguarding of personal data has come under scrutiny. Users began to recognize their own agency, demanding more transparency about how their information was being used and who had access to it. In response to the scandal, Facebook faced intense scrutiny from consumers, journalists, and lawmakers. Mark Zuckerberg was called to testify before the United States Congress, where he faced tough questions about the extent of data harvesting and the company's policies regarding user consent. This highlighted a crucial aspect of the conversation surrounding digital privacy. Who is responsible when personal data is misused? The fallout from the Cambridge Analytica scandal led to discussions about the need for stricter data protection regulations. In Europe, the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, was implemented in May 2018, setting new standards for data privacy and protecting users' rights. The idea was to ensure that individuals retained more control over their information, including requiring explicit consent for data collection and allowing users to access and delete their data. Meanwhile, many users began to reevaluate their relationship with social media platforms. Some deleted their accounts entirely, while others opted for greater privacy settings and became more discerning about the information they shared. This cultural shift signaled the beginning of a newfound awareness regarding digital footprints and the repercussions of online behavior. The Cambridge Analytica scandal continues to serve as a cautionary tale about the intersection of technology, privacy, and ethics. It has paved the way for increased discussions about the responsibilities of tech giants in the age of big data. As more people become aware of how their information can be used and potentially misused, the demand for accountability from social media platforms is likely to grow. What can we learn from this incident? First and foremost, individuals must remain vigilant about their online behavior, understanding privacy settings, and regularly auditing the information shared with various platforms is essential. Awareness is key. If users understand what they are opting into when they click Agree on terms of service, they can make more informed decisions. Furthermore, society must advocate for transparent data practices. By pushing for regulations that protect consumer rights, individuals can help ensure that their data is used ethically and responsibly. This requires a collective effort where both users and lawmakers work together to shape a digital future that respects the privacy and dignity of individuals. In conclusion, the Cambridge Analytica scandal not only reshaped public perception of data privacy, but also ignited a global conversation about the power dynamics between users and the tech platforms they use every day. While technology offers remarkable benefits, it also comes with significant responsibilities. As we navigate this complex landscape, an informed and engaged public is crucial for creating a safe and ethical digital environment. The lessons learned from this scandal will likely echo throughout the future of technology and privacy, reminding us of the importance of consent, transparency, and ethical conduct in the age of information. The world of hacking and cybersecurity often feels like a scene from a high-stakes thriller. One such incident that captivated the attention of many was the Los Zetas hacking incident, a dramatic confrontation between an infamous Mexican drug cartel and the notorious hacking collective known as Anonymous. To understand the significance of this event, we must first look at Los Zetas. Originally formed as an enforcement wing for the Gulf Cartel, Los Zetas eventually broke away to become an independent and powerful cartel. Known for their brutal tactics and fierce territorial control, they instilled fear across Mexico and even in parts of the United States. Their influence extended far beyond drug trafficking. They engaged in human trafficking, extortion, and various other forms of organized crime, making them one of the most feared criminal organizations in the world. Now, enter Anonymous. This loosely affiliated group of hacktivists became famous during the early 2000s for their politically charged operations aimed at various governmental and corporate entities. Armed with the ability to disrupt online operations, steal sensitive information, and raise awareness about social injustices, Anonymous quickly became known for their catchphrase, "We are anonymous, we are legion. We do not forgive, we do not forget." Their primary goal is often to expose corruption and fight against perceived injustices, even if it means taking on powerful adversaries. The stage was set for an extraordinary confrontation. In 2011, Anonymous targeted Los Zetas after the cartel was implicated in a series of brutal murders and kidnappings that shocked the nation. The spark for their intervention came when one of the cartel's most infamous acts was the massacre of 72 migrants in Tamaulipas, Mexico. The shocking nature of this crime drew international condemnation, and Anonymous felt compelled to take action. Anonymous launched an operation called Operation Haiti, which aimed at exposing the cartel's secrets and criminal activities. Using their advanced cyber skills, the hackers infiltrated various databases maintained by the cartel. They discovered a trove of sensitive information, including details about their operations, communications, and even personal data related to their members. What made this operation particularly remarkable was the sheer audacity with which Anonymous operated. They were well aware that by targeting a group like Los Zetas, they were provoking a deadly adversary. The potential for retaliation was enormous. Nevertheless, the hackers believed that their cause was just, viewing their actions as a way to fight back against a criminal organization that thrived on violence and fear. As the hacking unfolded, Anonymous began to release information to the public, aiming to shed light on the operations of Los Zetas. With every piece of data they leaked, they exposed the dark underbelly of the cartel's dealings, revealing ties to corrupt officials, drug routes, and connections within the law enforcement community. This information made headlines and raised awareness about the challenges facing Mexico and the impact of organized crime on society. The personal risk taken by the members of Anonymous could not be understated. Hacking into the networks of a cartel like Los Zetas was like throwing a match into a powder keg. The violent reputation of the cartel meant that anyone who crossed them could easily face dire consequences. Hitmen associated with Los Zetas were notorious for their swift and brutal retaliation against those who threatened their operations. By exposing the cartel's secrets, Anonymous placed themselves in the crosshairs of a ruthless organization that valued loyalty above all else. In the wake of the incident, both sides engaged in a kind of digital cat-and-mouse game. While Anonymous continued to release information and rally public support against the cartel, Los Zetas were likely trying to trace the source of the hacks and silence their opponents. Hacking campaigns often involve a high level of sophistication and strategy, not only in breaching security systems but also in covering tracks to avoid detection. This makes the battle between hackers and organized crime an ongoing saga of technological warfare. The implications of the Zetas hacking incident reached beyond the immediate confrontation. As the public became increasingly aware of the corruption and violence plaguing Mexico, there were calls for action. Law enforcement agencies both within Mexico and internationally recognized the need for enhanced cybersecurity measures to protect against similar attacks in the future. This incident served as a wake-up call to many governments about the complexities of modern crime and the necessity of adapting strategies to deal with cyber threats. In summary, the Zetas hacking incident exemplifies the high-stakes world where cyber warfare meets organized crime. The actions of Anonymous shine a spotlight on the lengths to which hacktivists are willing to go in their pursuit of justice, even when facing deadly adversaries like Zetas. The interplay between technology, violence, and morality remains a pressing issue in an increasingly interconnected world, reminding us all that the battle against corruption and injustice can often take on unforeseen forms. The legacy of this incident underscores the evolving landscape of crime, punishment, and the power of information in the digital age. As a final contemplation, the incident serves as a continuing reminder of the ongoing struggle between those who enforce the law and those who operate outside of it. The consequences of such actions can ripple through society, influencing public perception, policy decisions, and even international relations. The tactics employed by both sides perhaps highlight the ways in which modern technology can serve as both a tool for justice and a weapon of destruction. The intersection of morality, crime, and state power continues to evoke questions regarding the balance between safety and freedom, ultimately shaping how we view justice in a modern society driven by information,